Well, hello. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Nightcap for January 17th, 2022. Oh, boy. We got a fucking night for you tonight, boys. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, how's it going, everybody? You know me. I'm Sean. This is Zoobox. If you're watching the archive over on old YouTube, well, you're missing out because Monday night is for the boys. Okay, Monday night is for the boys. Monday night is for D Live. We can kind of watch whatever the fuck we want. We can listen to music. We can do whatever we want. Freedom Land. The benefit of only having 35 subscribers, or followers rather, on D Live, and they have no auto bots. Yeah, you know, like Transformers, except they ruin your day. So we got Hagbird. What's up, my friend? Prophet's in the house. He says, thank God I was 10 minutes into a video from that shape-shifting well poisoner David Pacman. He said, nice loop. You think I wouldn't notice? Tell that wildcat behind the wheel to stay above 50. Almost got me. All right, so we got some special stuff to look at tonight. Thanks to our behind-the-scenes secret producer, Prophet. He's been working behind the scenes, trying to get us noticed, trying to get Zoobox's name out there. Having it uttered by famous internet personalities. He's been doing the work. He's out there doing the work. We got some fun stuff to look at. Also, we're going to be looking at a new character. A new Zoobox character. Potentially. A potential new Zoobox character. So, Big Paul has been working behind the scenes, trolling Reddits and Discords and YouTube pages, trying to get a vegan to come on to Zoobox, like a activist, like a vegan activist, to debate our resident butcher. We may have got a guy. Who knows? Maybe after tonight he'll back out. But we'll see. We're going to take a look at his social medias. We're going to take a look at the one YouTube video he has. And then we're going to go from there. You know, we're talking big time here. Talking big time stuff that I only figured out what we were doing about 20 minutes ago. So that's how that's going to go. But to start off the night, oh my God, let's start off the night with a special message from a kind of a newer Zoobox, a newer Nightcap favorite. I've known about him for a while, but we only started covering him recently. We're going to be talking about the one and only Jesse Lee Peterson. So Prophet, I'll read what he wrote to me. Maybe after this, or I'll explain how he did this. But this was pretty awesome. I've watched it about 4 times. I laugh harder every time I watch it. And let's check it out. The night is for the boys. Welcome to Nightcap.
Hey, Sean. This is Jesse from JesseLeePeterson.com. So listen, Prophet told me that you helped build a Zoobox. And that you did a good job on it, man. They appreciate it. And also that you're very helpful with the neighbors and the friends. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool, man. And so Prophet want to thank you for your service. Because that's what it is. When you really think about it, you're helping others.
He's not wrong.
And the Prophet appreciate it. And you're doing the same with the neighbors and friends. So that's pretty cool, man. The Zoobox is working. And so I'm glad to hear that. I wish you well. Thank you for your service, man. And Prophet, thank you as well. Happy New Year to you, Sean. And I wish you the best year of your life so far, all right? God bless you, man.
Oh, my God. Look at that. Happy New Year to you, too, Jesse. I hope you have the best year ever. I hope you have the best week, the best day, the best show. Good God. Thank you so much, Prophet. It's so awesome. And at some point, when Prophet gets enough of these, we'll do a supercut of all of our friends talking about us. Hagbert says it's like getting a personalized message from Santa. It kind of is. He is kind of like Black Santa. Saving us all. Instead of presents, he brings us the sacrament of justice and of the word. But that was awesome. Big thanks to you, Prophet. That's above and beyond. That's above and beyond. And apparently, so Jesse does not do like business cameo shout outs unless you pay him exorbitant amounts of money. So Prophet made it a personalized one because he was like thinking about trying to get us shouted out on his live show every day. And Jesse doesn't just like read super chats. It's kind of it's a novelty when he does it. He doesn't do it super often. So, your chances of getting in there are kind of small. And this was an opportunity. I mean, listen, man. Honestly, I cannot thank you enough for doing that. That is awesome. I've already captured it. We'll throw it up. We'll throw it up and use it to promote our Jesse Lee Peterson Christmas episode. Try to get some more eyeballs on that. That'll be fun. But yeah, what a way to start the show. What a way to start the night. We can only go down the hill from here, really. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. It doesn't get much better than that. How many personalized messages from Jesse Lee Peterson do you have? None? Well, you should go to Cameo. But yeah, that was awesome. That's really cool, man. I'm swimming. I'm just enjoying. I'm basking in it. I'm basking in him saying my name. In some ways, he knows who I am, and he appreciates my work. And so does Prophet. And that's really, at the end of the day, what means the most to me, All right. So, let's get into this new guy. This new character. This potential Zoobox character. So, we got this guy, Nico Stuber. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's been having some back and forth with Big Paul over the past couple days, I think, while Paul is trying to line this up. Now, there's no obligation for anybody to do this. If Prophet does not want to, if he doesn't want to debate this guy, neither do I. I'm just not, this is not something I'm very passionate about. But nonetheless, it's something to look at, right? So this guy's he's a kind of a really hardcore vegan activist. He doesn't have a huge presence online, though. So we're not going to be able to see what the cut of his jib is necessarily in terms of rhetoric, how smart he is, what he sounds like. But he did do a video called Vegan Calisthenic Gains Part 1. Prophet says, I'll debate him right now. Ready. He's ready and he's ready to rock and roll. Well, we got to get a hold of Big Paul, because Big Paul's the one that is talking to this guy. So if you guys could hook up, that would be great. Anytime Monday through Friday, I'm pretty good. But we can make it happen anytime. I just need to know, preferably at night. The Prophet says, manhood intact and arguments hard. Big Paul says, good job, Prophet. Good job. So let's check out his social media stuff. Let's check out, I got his Instagram and also this video, Vegan Calisthenic Gains, Part 1. Part 2 is never put up. He only has one video on his YouTube page, which I was kind of bummed. Paul sent me a message, like a screen cap of him in this guy's comments section, asking if he would be down for a debate. And the guy was like, yeah, that sounds like it'd be fun. And so I was like, oh, he's got a YouTube channel. Got all excited. Started thinking. But he's only got one video. God damn it. But let's see what he's got here. The reason why I'm not using his music is because he uses a Nas song. Actually, let's look at what it is. So you can play this in your head. The World Is Yours by Nas. So think of that while they're doing calisthenics in this city. Oh yeah. Oh, there he is. He looks like a lizard. I'm trying to figure out, like, you could just do this anywhere, really. Although I suppose, in fairness, if you're trying to get your name out there, you're trying to spread the good words, you got to do something bold, provocative. Why not climb monuments and do calisthenics on them? That's what the kids like. That's what they respond to. They respond to stunt work. Oh, look, he's seducing us. Look at him, he's seducing us. I like, though, what I do appreciate is that he's like the package, right? He is kind of the stereotype of one of these dudes. He's even got the dreads. Oh, come on, guy. What are you doing? You're outside by yourself. You don't got to wear a mask. It's okay. It's okay. It's not going to get you. So this is his buddy. My goodness. I mean, it's like I can understand, you know, you want to wear something that's comfortable, hangs loose a little bit, but you don't got to be like this is almost pornographic. Jesse Lee Peterson would see this, he would be appalled. Prophet says, after doing all this hard work, he went home and took a vitamin B12 injection so he wouldn't die. Pinnacle of health. Oh yeah. Supplement City, as I like to call it. Okay, guys. We got a squirter. We got a squirter. Prophet says he's like post physique, and I'm like, let's see who can kill the other one with one punch. I don't know. We would have to see him do something substantial, something where there's power behind it. Sure. I mean, it's cool that you guys can do pull-ups. I mean, that's very cool. It's probably more pull-ups than I could do right now at this moment. Is this parkour? Is that what they call this? Parkour? Store-or? Hybrid makes a good point. Not to support his own bird fucking weight. That's true. That's true. This guy's a little beefier. I think he cheats. Why? It still has a minute left. A video like this is like, you gotta like fucking, you know, this is like a 45-second Instagram post, guys. Let me help you. With all the success I've found, I don't know if you've seen my page, 634 subs. I can teach you a thing or two. Prophet says, let's do 4 chords, cut, split, and stacked. I get to eat jerky and drink whiskey the whole time, and he gets kale and water. Let's roll. Stamina challenge. Watch your asshole, buddy. A lot of weirdos out there. Are you still recording? Yeah, that's right. See, he knows. He gets it. He instinctually understands. Oh, they got a drone out there and everything. They got a drone. They only did a drone for 2 shots. Seems like a waste, guys. Climb to the top of that thing. This is how this guy's going to die, by the way. This is what does him in. It's climbing slippery statues in the water fountain. Wow. So that was the thing. So, from what I understand, though, you know, I want to be fair. I've been told that he's a good guy. He's a nice dude. He's been very cordial. Big Paul says, Prophet, how will you not think about this when he is schooling you on the immorality of eating meat? Prophet says, this dude thinks that no being suffered for his impossible burgers, and yet he has committed a genocide for his food. How? I'll explain. During the debate. Yeah, when you're not getting turned on by the thoughts of this video. So he's got a couple comments. He's got 11 comments. One of them being our very own Big Paul. 60-second Calisthenic says, I'm new to your channel. Great quality filming, editing. A nice calisthenics motivation. Thanks for your video. Fire. Let's stay connected. Thanks, fam. Yes, looking forward to learning from your content. I like it. I like it. Vegan Jitsu says, that's how it's done, fam. New subscriber here. Let's support each other. He couldn't even give this guy a like and a heart. Come on now. That's the Zoobox guarantee. At a channel our size, lots of likes, lots of hearts. I want you to know that I saw it. Big Paul says, from a day ago, trying to find a vegan to debate a butcher on the morality of veganism with Zoobox podcast. You down? Sounds like a good conversation. I'm in. Paul, he got that much sought after like. Let's give him another one. Let's give him another like. Black Circle says, stick thin vegans making no gains. Oh, we have a challenger. We got a thread here. Laugh out loud. Sending you love, fam. Nico Stubler, Black Circle says, I nearly died on a vegan diet. I was stupid following a vegan diet, so yeah, I stopped being stupid. You should follow. You're stupid, clown. Nico responds, first, sorry to hear about your health struggles and hope you are feeling better, mentally and morally as well as physically. Without knowing more about your story, generally speaking, too often folk who try eating plant-based falsely blame any health issues that come up thereafter on the plant-based diet. However, we are complex beings living in complex systems, and more likely than not, your health issues were stemming from something else, not the fact that you stopped eating the flesh and secretions of animals. It has been 8 years since I last ate an animal or their secretion, and every day since I continue to feel physically stronger, mentally clear, and morally invigorated. I wish those same benefits on everyone. Goodness gracious. Big Paul says, dun, dun, dun. Prophet says, nice dude. Good guy. Go home and tell your wife about your problems. You want to work here? Close. Hagbert says, always be always be C, charring animal meat. Good God. Words and me do not agree. So that's that little thing. Now we'll look at his Instagram page here. He's got an Insta. Who doesn't have an Insta these days? He's out there. And then we'll look at he has like a liberation pledge that we'll take a look at as well. Also, seriously, Hagbert, I'm sorry for butchering that. 1,000 apologies. Please forgive me. All right, so let's check out his fucking, what is it? His Instagram. That's what the kids say. Animal rights activist, ban meat, animal studies scholar. How do you become an animal studies scholar? Harvard Law. Yoga teacher, Ashtanga. Liberation Pledge advocate. What the hell is he implying that he's a graduate of Harvard University? Hagbert said, it was wordy and frankly not very funny, so it's okay. It was not that bad. Check the LinkedIn. Where's the LinkedIn, Paul? I'm like a fucking child. I don't know how to work any of these things. Where's his LinkedIn? Do I have to look this up myself? Then what good are you? Just joking. I appreciate it, Paul. I appreciate you, buddy. Don't let anybody tell you differently. So here we go. So here's some picture. We'll go. Let's just scroll back a little bit. Scroll back, and then we'll just go through them. We got apples. Oh, Biden Harris. Ooh. Let's see here. Pay up. Oh, I guarantee you every single one of these pictures has a long screed to accompany them all. Big Paul says, fucking Christ. Prophet says, is it possible to liberate all the sperm from his stomach? Those animals died so he could close his eyes in ecstasy and lick his fingers. This guy's a coomer. This guy cooms. August 15th is National Reparations Day. America. Oh, he has hashtag America with 3 Ks. Very nice. Very clever. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for everybody here. There we go. No. There we go. America is deeply broken and repairing it requires reparations. Thank you, Big Paul. August 15th is National Reparations Day, and on it, thousands around the country and around the world gathered to demand reparations be made. Why would people from around the world be doing that? Mind your business. Mind your business. I am staunchly in favor of U.S. governmental reparations to African Americans and indigenous folk, amongst others. Not only do I see them as morally required, but also as a necessary and pragmatic act to liberate this country and its peoples moving forward. However, the path to reparations begins with #truth-telling. There is a reason why states who have recovered from horrendous histories have always begun their healing via truth and reconciliation commissions. Unfortunately, the U.S. has never been forced to do so. Instead, whereas the North won the Civil War, the South won the narrative. Really? You think so? Okay, buddy. Largely as a result, the U.S. has never authentically reckoned with its brutal history, a fact that prevents healing from taking place. As many religious traditions already know, redemption begins with confession. The same is true in this country. So give me can I get about 350? Can I get her about 350? Hagbert says he's not going to do well in the bauxite mines. No. How do we see? Now we got people engaging. Golden Rule Grooming says, how would we even begin to figure amounts for payouts of reparations? Never mind how these payments would be dispersed. I agree that the system, this is the same guy continued, systemic inequality caused by the abhorrent practices of slavery and subsequent oppression of African Americans, which Mr. Trump's presidency has so hideously reignited and emboldened, are to be acknowledged and opposed in the most vehement way. Now, while I was never a huge Trump fan, I thought he was very funny. I don't think he's responsible for that. I was paying attention. I don't think he's responsible for that. That's kind of a ridiculous statement that neither of them will qualify because they already agree with each other. So they won't do anything about it. They won't say anything interesting. My concern is that the reparations might cause even more animosity and encourage haters/bigots to an increased sense of superiority, if that's possible. Also, I don't want generations to come to have to pay for the debt that would be incurred. We have already burdened our children and their children with our irresponsible despoiling of the earth and created so much economic inequality that the 99% will never catch up with the 1%. Redistribution of wealth has got to encompass way more than reparations. Oh, shit, dog. Of course, they're all... Is he going to be a communist, too? Nico says, what is there... Oh, this is going to be a heinous back and forth. These would help lift up those who are disadvantaged more expediently, in my honest opinion. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Hagbert says, Donald Platinum Plan Trump. Nico replies, I agree that reparations are not a panacea, that they are obviously not sufficient by themselves, but do think they are a necessary piece of the package. The Coates piece, I'm assuming that's Tanashi Coates? Is that his name? Am I getting that right? Excuse me. I think I'm getting that right. The Coates piece I mentioned makes the case very completely, but as a quick example, whereas the average wealth of white families in the U.S. is $919,000, the average wealth of black families is $140,000. This is no accident. Blah, 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 blah. The average Caucasian American family is worth almost $1 million. That seems to be on the high side. Yeah, and then he doesn't respond to that. Yeah, because it's just like a throwing around a vague statistic to try to prove something. Oh, here's one this is. Oh yeah, this guy's a peach. This guy is a peach. Boy. If you're out there, Nico, namaste. Still love you, buddy. Real talk, #tough love for all my AR activist comrades. If you haven't been turning out for BLM actions over the past 6 years, or at least for however long that you've been an AR activist, animal rights activist, why not? I show out for animal rights for the exact same reason I show out for BLM. Oh no, he thinks black people are animals. For indigenous rights, for feminism, for queer liberation, etc. Oppression is wrong no matter how you cut it. The more you start to recognize it in one form, the more you should see it and act against it in others. Moreover, these oppressive systems are interwoven. They are cut from the same cloth, and as such, they can only truly be deconstructed collectively. While the animal rights movement is strong in many ways, by far its greatest weakness, in my opinion, are its optics of whiteness and its isolation from intersectional struggle. I say optics because in reality, by percentage, white folk are the smallest vegetarian demographic in the U.S. For example, 3% of white USians are vegetarians compared with 6% of the African Americans and 8% of the Latinx. Yet, despite this fact, white USians dominate these spaces both within institutional leadership roles as well as influencers. So he can't even just be an animal rights activist. He has to also say that he's racist. He's part of an inherently systemically oppressive racist thing when it comes to animal rights. Well, I mean, this is the thing. This is the problem all these people have. They want to lump everything together. They create this insurmountable problem. Say if you were to think all of these things were true. Say if you were to agree with everything he's saying, lumping it all together makes it insurmountable and you'll never be able to address everything. And also this whole thing where it's like, well, no matter what good you do or you're trying to do, it doesn't really matter because you're probably racist just for even being a part of this. Good stuff. Prophet says there's nothing immoral about killing for food, but there is something immoral about fucking this dude's girlfriend, even if he's begging you. Oh, she definitely would have an odor. I cannot keep going with that. I have a feeling every single picture comes with a fucking manifesto. We got more calisthenic gains. I've been doing leg ups since before I can remember. Shout out to Dad for the fire spot 24 years ago. Well, at least he's friends with his dad. Have you ever heard a pig scream in fear? Holy shit. Well, it should be fun. Asanas for me have little to do with physical form and everything to do with the thoughts and emotions they evoke. They're about using your physical manifestation to stir up, explore more subtle levels of being. It's easy to get fixated on the external appearances, ESP, on social media. And while these surface level appearances are nice for Insta, they are just that, superficial. Oh yeah, this guy's very deep. Very deep. Tarami, what's up? He says, cucks. Also, hey. No, he's not a cuck. He is a hardcore animal rights activist, but it seems like that kind of spreads out. He's basically an activist for everything you could possibly imagine. Is this the dude I'm debating? Are you shitting me? No, this is the guy. Potentially. This is the guy. This is not a joke. This is 1000% for real. I saw the screen caps. I know that this dude is the one Paul was talking to. Big Paul says, it's not a joke, and if you're scared, let me know so that we can cancel it for you. I don't want you out there getting hurt. Oh shit, we got videos.
Casey, and what did you just decide to do tonight?
I'm going vegan starting tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight, animals live.
That is so fucking beautiful.
Animals deserve to live. People need to learn. Animals have the same rights as we do. Fuck people, animals, 100%.
And the movement's going to be that much stronger because of you, Casey.
Casey, it's so nice to meet you.
This is like people in a cult that pick someone up at a bar. That's what this looks like. It's like they're cult members and they met this lady at a bar and she's drunk or high or whatever, and they're like, yeah, this is a really interesting thing. Because it doesn't seem like they really know Casey. Activism for me doesn't just consist of specific events that I block out on my calendar. He's out there in the world, doing it now, You can't even have a fucking drink without this guy coming up in your ear. Big Paul says, love how every subculture is a movement. Oh, they're all movements. It's all got to be filled with self-importance. It's like part of the self-delusion is that everything that you do, no matter what, is important. It's profound.
Thank you for stepping up.
We love you.
Absolutely. Everyone go vegan.
Heyo, that's what's up.
That is
All right, so what?
She literally fell over. As soon as she got out of frame, she wasn't actually stepping out of frame. She just fell flat on her fucking face. Trauma says, but you can't be strong and brave if you're not a movement. Exactly. Exactly. You need it. Hagbert says, meat is tasty and Cocoa Pebbles suck without milk. That's true. I've tried it. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. More videos. More vidya.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you got it, girl.
You got it?
oh yes.
Yeah, please cover up the street sign that tells people where they are. And this is from New York, New York. We got a New Yorker. Where that tells people where to go. I mean, she's so committed. She has vegan on her fucking pants. That's pretty crazy. That's substantial. That's cool. That's cool as fuck. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. They didn't cover it all the way up. It looked like they... Oh, this must be a different one. Because that is not the same. Oh, shit. Oh, whatever. It was not the same sign. Looks like they're doing multiples. They're out there doing multiples. Urban slaughterhouses or urban greenhouses. The choice is yours. Wow. Is there a way just to, like, look at videos? I'd like to see his video content. Try to get that off there, police. Prophet says, I'm gonna blow this guy's mind when I explain to him how 50 road diesel combines work and how they shred more animals in an hour than I could. Dream to kill in a year. If only you were like made of machinery. What's that guy with the hammer, the blue ox, all that shit? That could be you. Alright, I see that, Prophet. I'll do that after this one. Stop the violence. Fur. Alright, let's go. Let's just find the videos. That's what we do here on Nightcap. I'm like an old man. I'm like a boomer. I have no idea how any of this shit works. Paul's got to send me the LinkedIn. Prophet's got to tell me how to work, how to find the videos. Okay, this is not a lot of them. Oh, look, he's sucking his own dick. Oh, damn. Feeling very satisfied. Just tossed my own salad. Take that, meat eaters. Can you do that? I don't think so, buddy. Big Paul says John Henry. Exactly. Just like John Henry. Hagbert says, well, if this is NYC, there are many halal slaughterhouses in Brooklyn and Queens. He can go boycott at any number of them. That's true. And Paul is very jealous. He's very jealous of this man's dexterity. It's those calisthenic gains. Just says poop shoot on his back. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I did it, guys. Oh, shit.
Every year, hundreds of billions of animals are killed. Whole Foods profits off this death. Whole Foods.
Look at this poor son of a bitch. Prophet, this is where you used to work. This guy right here, he's like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, it's fucking Saturday nights, dude. I just want to go home.
It's not some progressive mom and pop store. It is a corporate machine. The second wealthiest grocery store in the United States. With worth over $17 billion and owned by the richest man on earth. They sell animal bodies for profit. Kill hundreds of millions of animals a year to make revenues of $2.4 billion.
Hagbard says, again, protests in safe spots. Yeah, they don't do anything that could possibly like harm themselves or actually put some skin into the game, right? Or something that would cause a scene. Like if they went down to one of these kosher slaughterhouses, holy shit. They'd get noticed. You want to get in the paper? Go there.
What's worse, Whole Foods exploits the compassion and empathy of their consumers by promoting and marketing humane meat, happy flesh. But that's a lie. Activists around the country have been investigating Whole Foods farms to document and show.
I like the employees. This lady right here, she's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get my meat.
The violence inherent on these sites. There are no humane farms. There's no humane way to kill someone who wants to live. These sites, Whole Foods' farms, are a disgrace to humanity. The violence.
And they have these. There's like these reporters, these journalists, probably from like StopEatingMeat.com. They're out there on the scene.
Done on these farms in our names is a disgrace to our humanity. And we have a responsibility to speak out against this violence and cause for its end. Last year, activists entered a Whole Foods farm in California and rescued 10 baby chickens.
10?
9 of them were confiscated by the
10 baby chickens. Big Paul says, well, they could be like that idiot that jumped in front of a livestock truck. They could. Trami says, Jesus, fuck, dude. Everyone stopped listening 5 minutes ago. Keep your speeches simple. Yeah, you got to kind of sloganeer a little bit. I mean, it's obvious what they're saying. Like, I don't think anybody that would hear this or anybody in the store is not familiar with what they're talking about. Big Paul says, if there was in the back, I'd be so bullshit, like yelling, hey, did you call ticket 137 yet? What the fuck? That's what I would be thinking. I'd be just like, man, I'm just like looking to get my half pound of ham. Come on. Trami says, friend, they're Vice reporters doing investigative journalism. Big Prof says, does this guy know that chicken culture is based on rape? Not yet. Not until your debate.
police. One of them.
He's like, I don't know if you're familiar with ephilism or antinatalism, but you might want to check into that stuff, guy. Nico.
Was allowed to leave and go free. Her name was Rose. She spent a year living in sanctuary with activists until she died of premature death due to health impacts she sustained on living in horrendous conditions of Whole Foods factory.
Do you think that's true, or do you think that's because they don't actually know how to take care of animals? The chicken lived for a year after and then died? I don't know. Prof says, like, rape is literally the only law to chickens. Big Paul says, all culture derived from the patriarchy is based on rape. The rooster is no different. Cock of the walk, buddy. Cock of the walk. That's why they call them cocks, okay? So they call them cocks, buddy. Hagbard says, chickens are terrible animals. They deserve to be eaten.
Enough is enough. We are here today for Rose to demand justice for the hardship that she went through. To demand justice for the hundreds of millions of animals Whole Foods kills every single year. We're going to hold a minute of silence in her honor, in honor of the individuals behind this counter whose flesh rots.
Oh, that looks like they're refrigerated. Calm down, Nico. Calm down, Nico. Big Paul, Big Paul says facts. Rabbits too, but they're not that tasty. Well, I guess that's probably how you prepare them. I've probably never had a properly prepared rabbit meal. Trami says to Big Paul something Zardozian about that. The gun is good, the penis is evil. Prophet says, fun fact, vegans don't realize when they rescue meat chickens, the modern Cornish cross can't live past 12 weeks or its heart explodes, and etc. And more. He's typing more. Photo op. I'm just going to put this on my Insta. Prophet continues, its legs break under its own weight. Hey, well, you know, but as long as it gets, maybe they'll just carry them around in like those little baby carrier things. Like, why are you taking a picture of this dude? This guy's putting the least amount of effort. Now, these two chicks right here, they're in it to win it. You know? They're probably part of Nico's harem. I'm going to assume that's his sister. Because otherwise, he'd insist that she strip down and take this fucking seriously. Big Paul says, yo, 137, I've been waiting. What the fuck? Hagbert says, Baby Bjorn, Chickens Edition. Yes, that's what I was looking for, the Baby Bjorn. Cornish Hen Edition. I like this dude in the background. Just got his headphones on, just pointing it to the deli counter. Yo, can I get that, can I get that chicken breast, please? Like, what outlet are these people with? I know, Trami said Vice, which is definitely possible. It's a possibility. I gotta assume this is just for them, their operation. They hired these people. You guys photographers, right? I'll give you you want to make a cool $200? Prophet says, cool thing about vegans is they are anemic and weak. I mean, fuck, look at India. Come on. Prophet donates an ice cream. Whoa. Ice cream starting the train. Paul says they make mean chicken. I know I'm going to say this wrong. Chicken tikka. There you go. That's my caveman brain. Hagbert says India also has a surprising amount of type 2 diabetes. Does it really? I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
An international movement is rising.
Rise up, yo. Rise up.
We refuse to stay silent. We will speak out against injustice everywhere. What do we want?
Animal liberation!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Animal liberation!
When do we want it?
This chick she's got her phone out. She's like, Jesus Christ, guys, this is going to be great for my Facebook feed. Prophet says, show Bob's and animal protein. Oh, is that the chick from the bar? Hold on. Is this that chick from the bar? It kind of looks like her. I don't think it is, but it looks like it could be her.
Animals do not want to die. Animals do not want to die.
Oh my. Hagbert says, yeah, found out during the black fungal infections tied to COVID in India. Okay. Good point. Prophet says, look at these chicks in nude suits and not actually being nude. Do they even care about these animals? Are they even sluts? I know, right? If you really cared, you'd bear it all. Prophet says, no, that's not her. No, I didn't think after seeing her again, but for a second there I was like, oh wow, that looks just like her. Big Paul calls them out. Says posers. All right. What else we got? Looks like we got to go back. Oh. Okay, here we go. Bodies on the line.
So there are activists, a number of activists with Direct Action Everywhere who are facing multiple felony charges, up to 60 years of prison time for rescuing animals from Whole Foods factory farms.
So I wonder, is that his thing? Is it Whole Foods? The Whole Foods, is that their target?
From the perspective,
he's also straight edge. Nice.
Of an animal rights activist who's deeply emotionally invested in this, like adding one more of us into a cage is well worth it in terms of helping to free like the 70 billion animals that are currently in cages. It's like, from a utilitarian perspective, it's a pretty meager sacrifice. If it is going to help to bring an end to this horrific system that is industrial animal agriculture.
That's okay. I don't need to listen to the whole episode. Big Paul says, nah, that's not straight edge. Totally an X-Men fan. We are the future, Charles, not them. Hagbert says, the Fugazi at the top of the show is making sense now. I meant to say at the top, I'm not actually a huge Fugazi fan. But I do like that song. Waiting Rooms are a fucking kick-ass tune. Prophet says, I love the whole meat rots in your stomach meme as if fucking vegetables don't decompose.
Yo, we got Josh here.
We got another testimonial. We got somebody else that he harassed in a public place. Maybe they're at a vegan diner or something. Prophet says, also, I love the image of this dude saving a rooster from a battery cage only to get spurred in the fucking face a few times. Yeah, but it's for love. It's for love.
Oh, all right. So, what are the number one mistakes people do fucking up their ways?
Not listening to me.
And what do you tell them?
All right. So basically, all you gotta do is brush your hair, put water in it. I don't use no type of product. People use product, but to me, I just use olive oil. That's it. Keep it moisturized on the skin. Consistently brush in the shower, shampoo, conditioner, brush all that, as you can see.
Oh.
So this guy uses olive oil for all of his hygienic needs. He must smell very good. Prophet says, look, my African American. Big Paul says, they know not what they do, Prophet.
Holy shit. Josh the man.
Come on, bro.
Hey-o.
What, did he just meet this guy on the fucking subway? Central Station M, the train line. They're out there, kids. You look out. These people are everywhere. People are everywhere. Make sure you know what your kids are doing on the internet. Prophet says, fun fact, roosters never actually make it to battery cages. They just get ground up as babies. Brutal. Tarami says, this feels so much like I have black friends. Because I don't know if you saw earlier, he went into this, one of the posts from Instagram was like a tirade about like activism and about how everything is systemically racist. Even the vegan community, even animal rights activists, even in that community, it is too white facing. And he does everything that he can to fight against that. So it's on brand. It's on brand. Prof says, I can agree with so much about factory farming. Well, that's the truth, right? Actually, Big Paul clipped it out for us on the YouTube page. It was Paul and I watching about basically somebody like this, an animal rights activist, talking about, we thought she was going to talk about bestiality, but she just talked about factory farming for most of it. And most of us, I think most human beings, with a conscience, you could be like, wow, that's fucking brutal. Some of these practices are very shocking. The thing is, though, do we have a solution to counter that? I guess that's the real question. Paul says, the bite-sized vegan. Yes. Yes. Check out me stretching, y'all. Oh, look, he almost collapsed. Oh, yeah. He really likes these shorts. He's just trying to show us his cock, dude. That's all this guy wants. He's like, check out this package, dude. That's why he stays so skinny, so his dick looks bigger. You're not fooling anybody, Nico. You're not fooling anybody. Oh, is this more?
What's up, fam? So it's been 2 weeks since I've left the house, 4 weeks since I've done anything social, and in the interest of injecting a little sociality into my daily routine, I went and did this pull-up challenge. So unless you're...
Oh, a pull-up challenge. Let's see what happens. Big Paul says bestiality action. About to rub one out to a fucking snake with dreads.
Carmelo, this is not a competition, but if I tagged you, just something creative, a little pull exercise, and if I didn't tag you and you want to do it, I'd still love to see you do it. Alright. Here we go.
Trami says to Big Paul, I believe in you. You can do it. Well, yes, you're very fit. You're a very fit guy.
Hey-o, let's see what you got.
Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. He's like, can you best me?
So it's been 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, it's been 2 weeks. What's happening here? Much love. 45 minutes. Oh my god. 45 minutes, guys. Well, we're definitely going to be watching some of this. Big Paul, response to Trami already done, and so much nightcap left. Who knows what we'll be able to beat off to next?
Hi. How you doing?
How you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you.
Oh, she's like one of these soul searchers. She's like, oh yeah, I started my blog, and then I just started traveling. Started using my dad's money, and I've just been going to South America. It's been really good. Trami says, "Oh, I'm gonna have to steel myself for this one." Yeah, let's see what they get into. The only thing that sucks about old Insta here, no closed captions. Apologies.
It's been years.
It's been so long. Last time I saw you, your dreads were like this tall.
I know, they've been growing.
They look so good.
Yeah, I guess it's... When was the last time I saw you? Was it, I guess, 2016?
It might have been.
Prophet comes in with a challenge. What I can't do, more pull-ups than this dude. But let's see him rip beef for 16 hours in a 32-degree room while listening to Black Sabbath.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad we're doing this.
Same. Thank you for being a part of this Instagram Live series.
Yeah. So are you in Costa Rica right now?
I fucking called it. I called that shit. Are you in Costa Rica right now? Are you traveling again, Michelle?
Yes, I'm in Costa Rica. I'm in Nosara. Living the good life.
That's cool. I've never been, but I was in Costa Rica, I guess, 2 months ago, and I'm missing it quite a bit.
Oh, nice. Oh, you were at Envision, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I've heard such good things. We should do another one about that.
All right, round 2. That sounds good. We can have my other buddy on as well.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us. This conversation. Oh, actually, I wanted to do a. I don't know how to do that. Well, I don't know. Okay, so this conversation is going to be about ahimsa, which is the first yama in the yamas, which are part of the 8 limbs in yoga. And Nico here is an animal rights activist, a yogi, and an amazing human being. So I really just want to set the stage up for you to share a little bit about your path to yoga. Starting there, like, how did you find yoga? What inspired you? And then from there, we'll see what happens.
Cool.
So take it away.
Hello, everybody on the chat. Nice to digitally meet you. Hopefully, we can meet in person at some point. So yeah, I'll do this intro hopefully short, and then we can get into the fun stuff. So I first came to yoga summer of 2013. I was working on a farm in Hawaii, which was an ashram of sorts. And so I had no idea like what I got myself into. I grew up in an atheistic family.
Hippies, dude.
I'd never done anything like spiritually related, and honestly didn't know a thing about yoga. But the experience was pretty full on. So we'd wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. We would do Agnihotra, which are fire ceremonies, chant mantra, meditate, practice pranayama, and then practice asana. And so it was like a 3-hour routine we would do every morning before breakfast.
Oh my God. The thing about people like this is they think they're the most interesting human beings on the face of the earth. Their experiences are just deeper and more profound than anything you could ever experience in your life. Jesus, we're definitely skipping around. There's no way. There's fucking no way. I know I say that sometimes, that we end up watching the whole thing, but God damn it. Trami says, holy shit, you're a terrible host. I think you were 100% dead on with your assessment for her, Sean. She's never had to work a day in her life. No, I think she's a professional young traveler. I mean, hey, I would do it. The opportunity was afforded to me. Somebody was like, yeah, sure. Here's some money. Go travel. Probably would have done it. Hopefully I would have come out the same. I don't know. I'm too cynical. I'm such a cynical person. The idea of buying into this or changing my entire life because of stuff like this, these kinds of kind of passive experiences they have, it just kind of goes to show you they were just like empty vessels. They didn't have anything before they went on these sojourns. Before they went out to find something, they didn't have anything. They had no grounding. They had no structure, morally, ethically. And then they kind of just take on whatever sounds good, whatever feels good. It's like it feels good probably to say the kinds of things that they say, because you're trying to stop pain, you're trying to stop suffering, you're trying to save lives. But come on.
And it changed me pretty profoundly. Up until that point, I was finding pleasure and meaning in like partying and drugs. And that experience on the ashram really eviscerated that interest for me and put me on a different path. So back in Colorado, after my summer on the farm, I began exploring yoga philosophy, meaning, and was really hungry for more. So in 2014, I went to India and was there for 6 months, and was studying yoga philosophy, comparative religions in particular. And was there that I really started digging into the philosophy behind the practice, and the thing that
Trami brings up a good point here. I wanted to bring it up last time about the furries, but these are the people that were raised to consume rather than produce. I would agree. I do think, I think people can legitimately come to these things and find meaning in them. Like, I don't think, in terms of spirituality or just orientating their life, that's what everybody's looking for to one degree or another. But usually it's so shallow and so vapid with most people. Probably like more this lady than this guy. I mean, he's restructured his life around it, while she's kind of a day player. She's a tourist. Hegbert says they work because they want to work, not because they have to. That's true. 1,000% to go have an experience. It was a while ago. We looked at it's off the Appalachian Trail, the yellow bus, or the Yellow Deli. The Yellow Deli, that's what it was. It's like this commune of kind of like hippie people that run these delis that go along the Appalachian Trail, and they're kind of like a little weird cult out there in the woods. And you can go there and kind of stay there for free, but you just got to work on the farm. And some people are very moved by it. Tarami says they're living off what's already been made rather than contributing to it. Hagbert says it's a novelty. And then Tarami totally agrees. Yep, my exact point. I totally agree.
Has motivated me ever since. 2000. So then I returned to the United States a year later.
Yeah, but like, how hardcore of a animal rights activist are you if you have fucking $200 AirPods in your fucking ears? I mean, this is just like a luxury of time that you have to sit here and hyper focus on this issue, where other people just have to, you know, they need to survive, they need to eat, they need to go to the grocery store. You know, people, sure, we can make more efforts to go to local farms and whatnot. I don't disagree with that. But it's just not a concern for most people. So when they have this disconnect where they don't understand how people can't see what they see, it's because this is all they have. This is all this dude has to care about. 24/7. It encapsulates his entire existence because he has nothing else. I would assume. I don't know that, but it seems like that might be the case.
I came back to India and did my teacher training, and it was in Ashtanga yoga. And it's the physical style of yoga that I really love to practice and teach now. Shortly after that, I did the Peace Corps. And from the Peace Corps, I moved to Colombia, where I was helping to manage a yoga studio down there. And so I was there for, I guess, 8 months. And so at the yoga studio, I was teaching classes. We were doing a yoga internship. So newly formed, newly educated yoga teachers would come to our studio and develop their teaching style. So I was mentoring them in that process and helping out with teaching yoga teacher trainings. We're almost to present.
Stop him, host. Travis, how's this interesting to anyone? I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, if you're interviewing a person and you're being like, oh, here, this is your life. This must be part of her travel log experience. This is what she does, I assume. Travis says, insights, man. We want insights. Yeah, we need something deeper than just your the particulars of the process by which you came to be. Tell us about your philosophy.
Okay. After that, I was hungry for more personal education, and so
So Big Paul has been behind the scenes trying to get somebody on ZooBox to debate Mr. Prophet, who is a working butcher. And most people are just not interested. They're not interested. They just kind of want to be in their communities. They want to talk about the things they want to talk about. They like that kind of echo chamber, just like most people with most beliefs or whatever. And this guy wants to be a star. Like, he likes attention. Anything to proselytize, he would take it. Case in point, talking to I don't know, we'll call her Caitlin. No, we'll call her Deborah. This is a Deborah.
Went to Bali and trained with a yogi named Mark Roberts. So did an intensive with him and really dug into the philosophy and the physical practices of the system. I am currently in my parents' basement in Colorado, which it's nice to be home, I guess. I've been living in New York City lately, doing a master's degree in what's called animal studies. So it basically looks at the relationships between human and non.
And he had to move back home. Huge surprise.
Non-human animals, and the significance of those relationships, both on humans and on other animals. I had to leave New York City because of COVID, and I'm finishing out my degree online. So like 2 weeks away from finishing. So that's kind of exciting.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
And I guess that brings us up to where we are now.
Wow. That was too fast. I want to go back. I want to go back and get in there a little bit more.
Yeah, that's your job. That's your job. He said a bunch of things. Now let's take it apart, Deborah. Let's do it.
So you gain practice.
It would be amazing if she just turned on him. What if she just turned on him? You know, Nico, I think you're a faggot. I think you're a little faggot. Trami says, that was too boring. I spaced out. Oh, Deborah. It's hard, you know? It's hard for Deborah to keep her attention if it's not some giant sunbathed cock in her face, you know?
Came back from the.
I'm sorry, a male penis. We've talked a lot of animal talk, a lot of chicken talk. When I say cock, I meant a penis.
Peace Corps, and
you
were like, I want to combine.
How long do you think he was in the Peace Corps? For like 6 months? Come on now.
What I've learned from the yogic philosophy, and I want to, bring that in, like live my yoga. And so you decided to go to get your master's in animal studies.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically. Okay.
I'm going to law school in the fall, and I'm really passionate about animal law, and just about creating a world with less harm and violence in general.
Yeah.
And so the master's degree is really kind of the intellectual or philosophical foundation for my animal rights activism and motivations in the world.
Amazing. Okay, so let's just so what is ahimsa, and how does that tie into your work now? And maybe you can share more about like what you do as an animal rights activist and how you live your life and what you believe and how you're supporting other people in their activism, and like how we can collectively, create a better world through ahimsa.
Cool. So this is one of my top favorite conversations of all time. So I'm really excited to have it.
It's my top, out of the top 10 things I talk about, this is number 1. Big Paul says, that's how you know people don't have experience. They think grad school means something.
It's how I start off a lot of my yoga classes in like abbreviated sections. So I'm excited to dig in.
Amazing.
Before we do, I'm just going to do like a little definitional stuff.
Please.
Because I guess the way we define things will take the conversation in different ways. So yoga can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of different definitions. But
I took a yoga class one time. Totally farted. I totally farted. Tarami says, what the fuck? If this is a show you do regularly, don't you have some kind of structure or other than, yeah, you blab about yourself? Well, that's the thing. Like, she circled back to questions about the Peace Corps because she was trying to get in her mind, like, straight. Like, okay, he said this led into this to this. But she didn't probe any further. Like, whoa, tell us about your time in the Peace Corps. Tell us about something that inspired you to continue down this path other than the fact that you've said that you've experienced something. She would never be allowed to work for Zoobox.
What I'm going to accept the Patanjali Yoga Shastras as this foundational kind of like to tie our conversation to that. So almost universally in the West, at least, basically every yoga practice roots itself in the Yoga Shastras. And so what the Yoga Shastras are,
that's a soda,
the
isn't
sutras and the pyasa. And those together are the philosophical foundation for the yoga practice. Within the Shastras, it enumerates 3 different types.
Trami says, you have like 10 rote questions that you hope to hit on something interesting that there's something you can dive into. Not tell me everything. Yeah, that's not being a good host. Like the blank slate, like, I don't know, just talk. Just talk, dude. That's not a good host. Never having been in this position. Well, no, I've interviewed a few people a long time ago on Zoobox, but yeah, she's not into the craft of interviewing. Hagbert says, I have a male friend who was gang raped in Honduras during his stint in the Peace Corps. Yikes. What was it, Honduras?
Types of yogas. So the yoga of mental cessation, yogas chitta niti virodaha, or whatever. Mm-hmm. The yoga of action, Kriya Yoga. and 8-limbed yoga, Ashtanga yoga. So within these three, Ashtanga yoga, and when I say that, I don't mean the physical, sweaty vinyasa practice. I'm talking about the philosophical system. It's the foundational system for all really like Western approaches to yoga as a spiritual science. And this is kind of how you start.
As a spiritual science. All right, let's skip ahead just a little bit. See if they've gotten into anything even remotely interesting.
1,600 years ago is a justification for that, right?
Totally.
All right, so now we get into the scope of ahimsa, like what it's really.
So this is 4 minutes past where we were, or around about 4 minutes. He's still giving definitions. So that she can hope to follow the conversation. Big Paul says that's the post-dead ROI right there, dropping all the knowledge nuggets, or post-grad ROI right there. What the fuck are you saying? Speaking English?
Asking us not to do.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess, is this making sense so far?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Totally on board.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I totally know what you're saying. Yeah, sure. 4
yamas and 5 niyamas are all rooted in ahimsa. So, and it explicitly says that ahimsa covers them all. The enumeration after that is just to add clarification, but everything else that follows in the yamas and niyamas are rooted in ahimsa. And so why is that, right? It's like, why?
Trami comes in and helps me out. Big Paul means he has to show he's post-grad by using all these goddamn words. Thank you. I appreciate that. Return on investment. His dad would be proud. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I got you guys.
And so if you're like me, I don't really follow rules. I'm not a big rule guy. And so if someone tells me to do something, my initial reaction is going to be like, I'm probably not going to do that.
Well, he is literally in his dad's basement, and his dad is upstairs. His mom is cooking his dad probably some not vegan food. He's hiding in the basement. He's like, well, if they hear me, I want them to know that their money has been well spent. Prof says, oh shit, this dude has some esoteric beliefs. I wonder what he thinks of the implication of wooden doors. I mean, how could the gas stay in?
And so when I was first reading all these texts and getting into it, that's the first thing that came to me.
I have a feeling we're going to have to record this locally. We're going to have to record this debate locally. Prophet says, how many vegan cookies per hour can this guy bake?
It's like, all right, some dude said 1,600 years ago you can't do this. Like, why? And it's not because Patanjali had like some motive about saving animals. It is deeply embedded within the philosophy of this yogic system. All right, so yoga comes from the root yog, which means to yoke, to bring together. And the principal purpose of yoga as a philosophy, as a spiritual practice, is to transcend the individual and to attain unification with a higher being. So within the yogic system, we call that Purusha, we call that Atman.
So a lot of the stuff is covered if you take a general religion course, and you do like your section on this kind of stuff. A lot of this is covered. So I'm glad that he ended up he's getting his master's on this. It's very important stuff. Big Paul says, fuck, just Wikipedia yoga. What do you have to say? Well, that's exactly. He's basically reading a Wikipedia page. He's been doing it for 17 minutes. Travis says, I mean, you can read this on a yoga Wikipedia page. Exactly.
Western traditions, you can call that God, Allah, Yahweh. The name doesn't really matter, but the idea of the yoga system is that it's a liberatory science to transcend the individual ego and to join with something greater than oneself. And with that goal, ahimsa is the biggest threat to that success, right? So to cause harm to someone else, to be violent to someone else, requires that we define that other person as something other than ourselves.
Hagbard says, reminder that when the Lord Indra arrived on the Ganges in his chariot to slaughter 6 million aboriginals, the first word he said was Namaste.
The mental to
dark.
even do that, right? So, and I don't, let's see how deep I want to go.
Yeah. Okay. While you flounder, let's skip ahead a little bit. See if he's still talking about this.
Creating peace and love in society. So for me, I think ahimsa, a practice of ahimsa, is demanding that we are creating this peace and love for others.
I am dead.
And again, to go back to
I am dead.
To my original example, it's like, obviously I'm not going to cut off my own leg and eat it.
Right.
But I'm also not going to let somebody else cut off my leg and eat it. Right? Like, this is my leg and nobody's going to eat my leg.
Yeah.
And
what a
as
principled
long
stance.
as we allow other people to eat the legs of other people, it is internally at a very deep level justifying violence, justifying separateness, and contributing to our it makes us buy into this illusion.
Yeah, good thing we're not cannibals. You know, good thing that's not socially acceptable, because that would be pretty fucked up. Good thing we have lots of animals to eat. Prophet says, to be violent to somebody else, that means we feel we are two separate beings. Does this guy go for beating up pussy? Oh, you know he does. Or, on the inverse, gets his boy pussy beat up. Hagbert says, unless that person is bigger and stronger from eating legs, you can't stop him. Tarami says, okay, you're dead, but the universe is cruel and you were reincarnated as the man destined to run Zoobox. That seems to be my lot in life. That's my cast, as they say. Prophet says, I will 100% eat this dude's legs. And then he gave me 2 lemons, so thank you, Prophet.
And it is an illusion of separateness, because like at a very fundamental...
That's how you can end the debate. Be like, yo, listen, not for nothing, but I'd eat those gams. I'd eat those legs. Hagbert posts, what is that? Is that Gorn?
Deep level, right? We are
man.
all one. And so, yeah, I think for me, I mean, yoga, the system of yoga, Patanjali yoga system, is the foundational philosophy of my life. It guides everything I do.
I want to hear more about
the sense of contentment while greedily consuming.
Oh, it's a slee stack. Shit. You're right. Oh my god, I cannot believe I missed that. I'm getting fucking rusty. I've been off my game the past few weeks.
The bodies and products of others. And so all 5 of the yamas, all 5 of the niyamas, because they're all rooted in ahimsa, they all make this case for the need to live compassionately, and on a very basic, to live vegan. In my position, to live activist, and to live in a way that's actively working to change it, and that's to be an activist and calling for the liberation of all other beings.
Amazing. Say it. Say amazing.
Fuck yeah.
She just says, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, Nico. Even though we're worlds apart, Nico, I would let you beat up this pussy.
I love it. Thank you for that explanation.
That's 27 minutes into their 45-minute interview. I skipped over a bunch. Guy, he could not be stopped. He could not be stopped.
So will you tell us now, just the last couple minutes, tell us now about the work that you're doing now in the world and how you show up for an activist, and maybe...
Yeah, I go to bars and I go to clubs and I talk to drunk people and I go to Whole Foods around 6:30 at night and I yell at people.
You could share with us like ways for us to get involved, other people to get involved in activism, and maybe too you could start off with like some vegan, like, I don't know how many people on here are not really know the deal about being vegan, or like the stats around, I don't know. So you maybe just, I know you have some really good, facts around.
Bring the fire, Nico. Bring the fire. Prophet says the liberation of all beings. Has this dude seen footage of a fucking watering hole? Big cat rips throat out of a gazelle and plays with it.
Around what's going on in the world?
Like a ball of yarn. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
So maybe just if you can drop into that.
Cool. Thanks, Shar.
Yeah.
I won't bombard.
Her name is Shar. Shar. I'm assuming that's short for Charlene or maybe charity.
People, but I'll spice a little some facts on everybody, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start with the status quo.
Great.
Within the world, we farm and kill over 70 billion animals a year. Sorry, let me clarify that. 70 billion terrestrial.
Oh, Trauma says Sharon. This is also a possibility. Strong possibility that could be a Sharon. You know what? She kind of looks like a Sharon. I could see that.
Animals. So animals who live on ground. In the U.S. alone, it's 10 billion, right? So a 10 followed by 9 zeros. That's how many animals we are killing every year to consume.
That's animal slaughter momentum. Get with it.
When we bring fishes and crustaceans into this picture, that number skyrockets to 3 trillion animals a year.
No.
Right?
No.
So 3 trillion animals. And
No.
to put that number into perspective,
Yeah.
108 billion 108 billion human beings have ever existed. Right? So 108 billion humans have ever lived on Earth.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a symbiosis. There's like a food chain, and one supports the other. I mean, I said earlier, you could talk about factory farming and the way in which it is done. I think that's probably a fair argument. It's a fair conversation. But just the notion that it happens, and there's a lot of it happening, is because it sustains the species. This is like tangential to antinatalism. Tarami says 10 followed by 9 zeros, or 1 followed by 10 zeros. I thought you had been through grad school. His father's upstairs, furious.
And we are killing levels of magnitude more animals than that every single year to consume them, right? So the scale of violence is really unimaginable, as is the severity of it, right? So anybody who's watched a video on animal exploitation will watch 5 seconds of it, and the level of violence.
And this is the thing, they're going to talk about the level of violence, all this stuff, but to live a vegan lifestyle requires you to engage with a lot of supplements, a lot of non-organic foods and whatnot, just to kind of sustain a healthy body like this guy does. And to produce those things requires a ton of destruction to ecology. Even if you're just to think about it like that. Like it's not this one or the other thing like they present it as. It's not. You're okay just meeting violence upon something that you can't see. Something that you won't acknowledge, that there's no videos of. No videos of people making your supplements and the displacement and the ecology that occurs when that happens.
That is endemic to these sites is astronomical. So not only are we farming and killing hundreds of billions of animals, but each one of those lives is living in the deepest, with the deepest presence of violence and harm that one can imagine. So, and okay, I don't know how far off to go, but this
guy really likes smacking his lips. Trauma says, also, I question is 10 billion. It would mean we eat more than an animal each and every day on average. Hagbert says, well, I don't want to brag, Tarami.
Industrial animal agriculture is the leading cause of so many of the Earth's most pressing environmental issues, right? So a leading, if not the leading cause of climate change, the leading cause of deforestation, the leading cause of ocean dead zones.
Big Paul says, well, it takes 10 chickens to get my bucket of Asian zing from B-dubs, sucker.
The leading cause of bacterial infections and bacterial disease spread, causes pandemics, right? It's the number one source of antimicrobial resistance. According to Human Rights Watch, slaughterhouse workers are the most exploited and the number one source of human rights violations in the country. So really every form of oppression and all these harms in society that are the most salient that we're facing, right? Just take climate change and global pandemics, are deeply, deeply enmeshed within animal agriculture. So even if people don't give a fuck about animals, which I think we should, but if you don't, if all you care about is humans, we need to stop eating animals, and we need to do it immediately. There's no other alternative, right?
What about bugs? Eat the bugs? Should we eat the bugs?
I mean,
he's looking over here. His mom's like waving a scarf. Nico, dinner is ready. I've lightly braised your vegetables, Nico.
We could keep talking about this, and if you're listening to this and you're like, Nico, I cannot get on board, send me a DM, and I'm so happy to chat with you about this. But assuming that we can all agree that it's wrong to be killing and eating animals, for the environment, for our public health, and for human rights, I'm gonna take that as a starting position. Then it comes to be like, all right, well, what can we be doing to address this, right? Because the issue seems so overwhelming. I'm just one person. I can't make a difference. And that's the narrative that folk in power put out.
I love it when everybody refers to everyone else as folk. These folks in power. These folks in pain.
And it's total bullshit, right? Like, that only way anything has ever changed is by groups of individuals coming together and demanding it. We are so much...
He's really cracked the code. He's cracked the code. What are we all doing?
More powerful than any of us can even imagine. And we can create the world we want to live in our generation, right? All it takes is this to transcend the ego, to transcend the individual, come together as a collective, and in that collective, we have power to create the world we want to live in. So within the animal rights space, I think it's deeply important. I mean, in every space, no matter what you care about, is to be an activist. And all that means to be an activist is to be active on your beliefs and to be advocating for change, right? So I think the first step, as said, is to stop eating animals and their products. It's
Trami says... Also not true. Most change is made by determined individuals willing to murder a couple million. Well, yeah. If you want to do it within a generation, definitely.
Easy. You're going to feel great spiritually, mentally, physically. You're going to glow. It's going to be the happiest decision you made of your life. I fucking guarantee it. All right. So once you stop doing that, you're going to find this new energy, this new conviction, this new passion. And it's because once we align our beliefs and our values with our actions, there is tremendous liberation and value in that, right? There's no better feeling to be moving in this world the way we believe we should be, right? And there's no worse feeling than be doing something we know it's wrong. Yeah. We all know it's wrong to contribute to the system, even if it's at a very deep subconscious level. All right, so again,
So everybody already agrees with me, whether they understand that or realize that or not. Just so you know. Hagbert says, once I align to your passion. Travis says, it's true. Sanctimony is one of the greatest feelings. It really is. It gets you high. This guy is high on his sanctimony. Prophet says, fun fact, veganism ruined my wife's fertility. She didn't have a normal period for years. Tons of liver, lard, and broth layer we've dropped. 2 H-bombs on the first try. Well, that's true. Because you just deplete yourself of the necessary vitamins and minerals to be a healthy body. Pretty common.
Vegan, you'll be...
I knew a dude. I lived with a dude. When I lived in Boston, I lived with a dude who went vegan, and he got jaundice within like a couple weeks. Because most people have no fucking idea what it actually requires for you to live that lifestyle in a healthy manner. They just say, stop eating animals. Most people couldn't afford to be a healthy vegan. They couldn't afford it. It's a fucking industry just like anything else. And it creates just as much suffering, just as much work problems, just as much whatever. Manufacturing, using of diesel fuel. I mean, come on. Come on.
It'll be the best decision you've made in your life. It's the best decision I've ever made in my life. Then begin to help others do the same, right? So maybe that's like texting your mom, your boyfriend, I don't know, all these people you talk with on social media, and begin starting conversations.
Oh, Nikos.
As a part of that, plug into the network,
Nikos.
right? There are tens of millions of passionate vegan activists around the world doing incredible things, and it's the most beautiful community. It's a community.
Hagbard says, beef tallow, the secret to the old McDonald's fries, you know, when they were cracktacular.
Community people who are actively spending their free time watching like violence, right? And you don't have to do that, but like actively spending their free time to create a more peaceful and just world for others. And those communities are so beautiful. So find the community. It exists where you live, I guarantee it. And if it doesn't, then we can be the community together digitally. Plug into it and start hanging out with them. Activism can take so many different forms. I personally organize with a group called Direct Action Everywhere. But for me, it doesn't really matter the exact form of activism you're taking. It just matters that you're being active. So start with yourself, begin spreading the message to others, whether it's just on sharing some posts online, texting some friends, watching some documentaries. Maybe I'll end with that. 3 documentaries for homework.
Yes.
Dominion.
Give it to him.
It is one of the most important movie, or one of the most important movies I've ever watched. So Dominion, it's free online. Just type in watch Dominion. It's a hard one. It's not like uplifting.
Then he's like, oh, and then there's this guy, Eric Dubay. You should watch his 5-hour documentary about why Hitler wasn't that bad. They go really into detail about slaughterhouses, because he's also vegan. Trauma says, as long as you stay in line, I'm sure. Oh yeah, if you break with orthodoxy, if you were to ever like speak out against it or be like, I don't know about this, you know, they would descend on you like fucking locusts to tell you why you were wrong. Trauma says, oh fuck you, lady, give it to them, as if you have any fucking clue what he's talking about. She just seems like such an empty person. There's just nothing going on here. I don't know, maybe that's her interview style, you know?
Hallmark movie, but it is a movie that will profoundly empower you and change you to see the world differently and to live your values. The other, Cowspiracy, I remember that came out when we were hanging out way back when.
Cowspiracy was a roundly debunked documentary. Prof says, what was the name of that documentary again? The first one he mentioned was Dominion. Thank you, Hagward. Yeah. Dominion. Cowspiracy, which I like, if I'm not mistaken, has been roundly debunked in the time that it came out to now.
It's the best introduction to these environmental issues caused by animal ag. And there's more academic stuff out now, but start there. And then What the Health? It's a documentary that looks at the health consequences of eating animals. So Dominion, Cowspiracy, What the Health. And as soon as you have those 3, this is the last thing I'll do, and then I'll let you get on with your day.
No, please. Keep going.
Those 3 documentaries, like, for anybody who's interested in transitioning to being plant-based or vegan, it can seem daunting at first, and it's understandable, right? Is when you have your why clearly defined, it becomes a breeze, right? If you don't know really why you're being vegan, like I saw someone post about it somewhere, and like this cute girl I follow on Instagram wrote something about it, and like I should probably do it. Then as soon as like you go out to eat with friends, you're like, fuck, that looks good, I'm gonna eat it, right?
Yeah.
But when you have your why clearly defined, right, and it can be spiritual, it can be philosophical, it can be ethical, it can be so many reasons, all the reasons. But when your why of like, I do not want to harm others, I do not want to contribute to the harm of others, when that why is very clearly defined in your mind, and it will become defined through watching these 3 documentaries, everything else falls into place. And again, it will become an incredibly easy decision and change, but the most empowering.
Skipping ahead.
Nick, anyone that's live right now, Anything that's come up for you that you're wondering?
No, sorry,
And
Nico.
if not, if you're shy, you don't want to ask right now.
Nobody's asking
Slide into my
questions.
Yes,
DMs.
if you're shy, he's looking for you to slide into his DMs. So just
Prophet says this dude is giving away his whole game. I'm like Vince Lombardi with a notebook and a cup of coffee right now. Well, yeah, that's what we're doing. This is we're doing research. Trami says, "Thanks for the soapbox, lady." Char.
get in there.
And if
Get in there
and if
again.
You watch this and it's
Does she talk at all? This misogyny. This disgusting toxic masculinity.
not live, I don't like whenever you end up watching this, hit me up and let's chat. Yo, Javi, thanks, brother. It's good to see you, dog.
It makes a lot of sense why he actually responded to Big Paul's query. Why he responded to Big Paul's questions. It makes a lot of sense now. Having spent a little time with Nico, now I kind of get it.
Awesome. I feel like we could just keep going on this conversation.
This conversation? You mean this monologue? Lady, you got to jump in there every once in a while. Come on now. Have a sense of, have a sense of self. Get in there.
Because it's such potent and important. This is just such an important topic. Like, this is the topic that all conversations need to start right here. So
there is nothing
I'm really,
else.
really grateful for you and your work in this world, and for you've been inspiring me since we first met. And I really am inspired too now to take more, real action. I think that's the next step.
Prophet says he's an attention whore. Exactly. Big Paul says, you trying to say I'm not inviting? No, you are. You're very amenable. So I saw you sent me some of your messages, so I saw you're being nice guy Paul, as we would say. Prophet says, so am I. He's inviting as well. Hagbert says, pretend he's your dad's law partner and push back a little. Big Paul says, laugh out loud, Sean. I can't wait to type up questions. It should be a good show. If he'll do it, like we'll get it done. I mean, it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun. Like I said, we may have to locally record it and not do it live. Although if we do it live, we could do it on DLive, because we could get away with anything. It could go anywhere the conversation needs to go. That could happen on DLive, but we'll see.
It's like, okay, we're vegan, and now we need to go out and take the action of what does it mean to be a vegan, and how can we like inspire others and put ourselves on the line. And the work that you do and putting yourself on the line is so freaking inspiring. So everyone follow Nick and see what he's up to, and let's all get out there.
I saw a little question from Carmelo and a follow-up by
good.
Lauren. Love you too.
Great.
No,
Okay.
Beautiful. All right. How do you handle the vegan hecklers? Right? Like, how do you
Here we go. This is important information. How do you deal with the vegan hecklers? Not to suggest that we're hecklers. We're not. We're not hecklers. I think even Prophet will come in here, good faith, to have a conversation. You may get your boy pussy pwned, but he will hear you out. You'll have your chance to talk. Not as much as you've been able to talk here,
handle the haters?
but talk you will.
Yeah. Please help us.
So this question applies to any type of hater out there, right? The thing about veganism is that people take it very personally, right? And so it's like, not by being vegan, you're inherently saying that other people are wrong. And if you're not, then you're not doing it right, right? Like there's, and that's my.
So if you're not a condescending prick, then you're just not doing your veganism right. So start there. That's a good place to start for healthy conversation.
It's wrong to eat animals. It's wrong to normalize and justify violence, and we shouldn't tolerate it, right? We don't tolerate violence in other aspects of our life. We don't tolerate racism, sexism, transphobia. We shouldn't tolerate these systems of oppression, and it should be the same for animals, right? But knowing that theoretically is a lot. It can be difficult to put that into place, especially when we're living in a deeply carnist society where living vegan is way outside of it. So, Carmelo, to answer your question, I think that live unapologetically, like, peaceful and nonviolent, right? And so it can manifest in very different ways. Like if you're at a protest and someone comes up and gives you shit, I just don't engage with those people because it's not an appropriate space to engage with them in a nonviolent way. They're not there to listen, and so I just brush them off. Otherwise, I do so. I acknowledge where they are, right? And so if they're coming at me with pure hate and they're not open to a conversation, I shut them down. They don't deserve my attention. They don't deserve your attention. And the most peaceful way to engage with them is just to let that shit dissipate. If they're coming at you with questions and you think they could be interested in hearing, I try to approach everybody how I wish I would have been approached the day before I went vegan, right? So people who I try to give people, like, everybody, because I lived the first 18 years of my life eating all the animal products I get my hands on. So I try to engage with everybody who actually wants to engage with a deep level of compassion and love, recognize that I was there.
Yeah, but how do you deal? So the way to deal with haters is just to ignore them. Much shorter answer.
See myself in their shoes. Again, it comes back to the foundational part of this talk. It's like the other is you, I am them, they are me. So recognize that they're on their own journey. Give them some help and like some inspiration for where they are, and then help them along the way. So haters who are hating just to hate, I just say fuck off, but I say it nicely. I say, like, I love you. I hope you have a beautiful day. Things like that. Go eat some fruit.
Which is true. As we saw in his comment section on his one YouTube video, he will come back at these people with positivity. He does not dwell in negative things. He will probably never say to you, fuck you. Although, I suppose we'll give him a run for his money. Trami says, or Hagbard says, yes, I do. And then Trami says, sure, we normalize violence every single day. Trami says, quote unquote, if they have questions that give you an excuse to proselytize, do it. Otherwise, never speak. Yeah, it's kind of like, is this a safe person to talk to or not?
And then people who are coming at me and are actually interested, I take as much time, patience, and compassion as I can, and to meet them where they're at and help them get to where they want to go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to post this video when it's over, and I'm going to put some notes in the post. And if anyone has any questions or anything, again, please message Nick. He's looking for you to slide into his DMs.
He's like, yeah, guys, slide into those DMs. Slide into them. All right, well, we got some protest videos. We'll watch a few more. We're doing we're doing some research here. Some recon. Hagbard says Hugbox meets Zoobox. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But, I know Prophet. I know him well enough to know that he'll actually probably not be that big of a dick. Surprisingly enough. Whoa, hold on. What's the explainer here? So, George Floyd's death was not a freak accident, a split-second mistake. It was brutally slow, intentional, and vile. He was pinned beneath 3 Minneapolis police for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Well, there's just one guy. He went to jail for it. They knew what they were doing and felt empowered and emboldened to do it in daylight and on camera. Jesus Christ. Just a vegan. Not only that, but he's a fucking Kool-Aid drinker. Moment of silence. Let's replace MLK Jr. Day with George Floyd Day. I saw that a lot today. Silent protest. Oh, this is going to go on for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. He couldn't even make it the last second. What a fraud. What a fraud. He couldn't even do it for reals.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love one another, support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. But our chains.
But our chains. Whoa. Oh yeah, this guy's all in. He's all in into any. Imagine how excited he is that he gets to go be like part of this movement and then involve himself in it relative to being a vegan. See here, he's talking to somebody.
All right,
here.
what's your name, fam? My name is Fraz. Hey, everybody. And where are we right now? We're in the middle of San Francisco Airport. And what made you come up and say hi to me? I saw this beautiful human right here.
Oh, this is another random interaction with a person. Prophet says, silent protest, try the silent prayer. Old JLP reference there. Who said my name earlier. Thank you, Prophet. Trami says, love for everyone until someone has different ideas, and then you're all fucked.
Here with a nice bacon shirt, which I love to eat. And I said, I want to be like that. And so what have we been talking about today? Well, I had some health problems, and I became a vegan, and my life got worse as I progressed with the movement, but I wasn't doing it right. So I asked this gentleman about how I could properly eat, and he's been helping me with great resources.
Hell yeah. So you think you're going to give it a shot again in the future?
I think today is going to be a game changer for me after you've enlightened me with this new information.
Like, it's like a hostage video. It's like a hostage video. This guy went over in the quad and was just like making a goof about his shirt. And then he lectured him for 25 minutes. And then he's just like, yeah, well, maybe if I change my diet, maybe I'd feel better. Jesus Christ. Trami says, Prophet says, MC, love one another. White activists love one another. Well, this is a JLP magic. JLP style.
With this research that he's going to give me, I've been kind of looking at it on my phone. This guy's point on. So if there's anyone out there that needs some help to become a vegan, this is your man. I'm not even trying to sell you. We all need to live a better life.
Yo, this is the fucking man right here. It's so nice to meet you.
He talked to me in this airport. Nico says here, every interaction is an opportunity for activism. Oh, I'm sure he is fun. As such, the key to good activism is simply to increase the quantity and quality of interactions we have. The first step for one-on-one interactions is opening the conversation, and the most effective way to do so is enabling others to initiate it themselves. Or themself. That's not a word, Nico. By responding to another's question, rather than giving them an unsolicited answer, our response is seen as justified and warranted. We don't have to convince others to stop and listen, as they already self-selected to do so. So anybody that starts a conversation with Nico will be given a lecture. Prophet says, Allah Akbar, the Prophet saved my life and told me about the evil swine. Trami says, every interaction is an opportunity for activism, is such a disgusting view of life. Yeah, you can't ever appreciate anything or actually have genuine conversations with human beings, with other people, because you're always going to be motivated by this behavior. You can't have even genuine interactions because it's just all about your activism.
Yeah, brother.
To be in the movement with you.
Love this guy, man.
Love this brother.
Support him.
Much love.
Right,
Support
name,
him on
fam?
Patreon. Oh, here we go. And now he's in the bushes.
Yo, what's up, team? As you can see, I just voted. And while on the one hand, I did hold my nose and vote Biden, as I think we all should, I also had the opportunity to vote for someone I really believe in. You know, Wayne, my good friend, is running to be Berkeley's mayor. He's on track to win. His victory would be transformative. It would transform the lives of Berkeley residents, but it would also transform the movements for climate justice and for animal.
So he's just an activist for everything. Every hot button issue that's going on in the country. Well, old Nico here, he just wants to be a part of it, a part of everything. And somehow I'm sure he rationalizes and folds that into the vegan lifestyle, the vegan philosophy, if you will.
animal liberation. And he's on track to win, which is really, really something. But unfortunately, as he's been climbing in the polls, in recent weeks, he's been getting hit hard with attack ads. And so
yeah, it's almost like his win would probably be very good for single, childless activists. That's who would probably be the most benefited from him winning.
In order for him to win, he really needs to be basically putting out ads of his own to count.
He's like, hey, it's cool, man. I live in my parents' basement. I'm finishing my degree, dog.
This misinformation. And that's where you come in. If you haven't already donated to Wayne's campaign, I urge you to do so today. Time cannot wait. I don't think there's a better space to be spending your money if you care about animal liberation or climate justice right now than Yo, what's up, T?
Couldn't even get it in. See, more activism.
Hey everybody, my name is Nico. If you could just give
This is 8 minutes long. Maybe we'll learn something. Then again, maybe we won't.
us a few minutes of your time. I promise that what I have to say is really in the best interest of all of us. It aligns with your values. And I can also promise that your children and your grandchildren would like...
Could you guys back the fuck up? I'm trying to get pictures of my man Nico over here. Yeah, he hired me for about $400.
...you to hear this message. All right, so I'm an animal liberation activist. We are animal liberation activists. And we're here for the people that are being boiled alive in those pots over there to be consumed. We're here for the people that are about to be...
Oh, so this is like a crab fest.
...on your plates. And we're here for the trillions of individuals living in the oceans today whose future remains uncertain. Even so, I'm not going to speak too much about the individual lived experiences of these people. I'm not going to dig too much into the scientific consensus that shows that fishes feel pain just like us. I'm not going to dig into the scientific studies that show that fishes feel...
They're trying to silence him with motorcycle engines.
...fear, that fishes get scared just like us. Or the scientific studies that have showed that fishes make decisions democratically. That fishes make decisions better in a democratic manner than humans do. Because unfortunately, too many here are not ready to hear that message. Right? The cognitive dissonance between your values...
Travis says, I mean, does anyone doubt that animals feel pain? No, they don't. They don't. And if you're confronted, if you watch, like, factory farming videos, that shit is fucking brutal. I'm not going to say it's not. It is. Hagrid says, crabs aren't fish. Big Paul says, I'm not going to cite scientific facts, just insinuate that I have all the facts.
Of love, compassion, and equality conflict too much with our actions of violence. Our violent dietary habits. There's a quote from Franz Kafka. Kafka, shortly after going vegetarian, entered an aquarium, and he looked into the eyes of a fish, and he said,
I want to fuck you, bro.
Now that I don't eat you, for the first time in my life, I can see you. Now that I don't eat you, for the first time in my life, I can see you. It was the same for me, right? When our actions conflict with our values, our defense mechanisms come up and prevent us from really seeing truth and being willing to listen. And so while I don't want to focus this talk on these...
Man, this guy's got some free time. Prophet says, why the fuck are you saying fishes? You wouldn't say humans is.
...lived experiences of these fishes, I do want to plant these seeds for you to contemplate and think about moving forward. Because I guarantee, with absolute certainty, that just as future generations will look back in utter horror at the way that we treat non-humans today, so too will most of you look back with remorse about the way you're currently treating animals. Right? The majority of activists you see here in yellow shirts, we grew up eating animals. I grew up eating animals, and I reflect with deep sadness at every life that I've taken. And so I have no doubt that the same will become true for you. So I don't want to talk about that, right? What I do want to talk about is something that everybody here is ready to hear.
Travis says also, that's not what Kafka said. Well, I don't know for sure myself, but I believe you.
And that's the environmental catastrophe that is industrial fishing. It's fair to say that there's not an industry on Earth that's more environmental.
Didn't Kafka die when he was like 40 as well? 45? In a time where this would not have been really a big concern for people? I mean, I've read The Trial. I've seen the wonderful Orson Welles movie. The adaptation. But beyond that, I actually don't know very much.
Be harmful or destructive than the fishing industry. Let's talk climate change. Right, our oceans are the #1 carbon sink on the planet, meaning they store more carbon than anything else. It's also the #1 producer of oxygen. Simply put, our oceans are the biggest factor preventing climate breakdown or enabling it. And we're attacking our oceans. Let's consider trawling. Trawling is a...
Trami says, now I can look at you in peace. I don't eat you anymore. Seems to be the translation generally used. Okay, fair enough.
Practice where we drag nets along the base of the ocean, along the base of the seafloor, destroying everything in its path. Most crustaceans, most of these crabs that y'all are about to consume over here, are produced and gathered via trawling. And the trawling industry has a greater carbon impact than the entire aviation industry combined. Let me say that again. The trawling industry generates more carbon than the entire aviation industry combined. So yes, flying...
So when I fly to Costa Rica, I'm cool. But when you eat crabs, you bad. Trauma says, which doesn't have the emotional implications he wants it to. No, it's probably just more of a intellectual exercise. Hagbert says dead at 40 and he was broke and he was a broken individual. Yeah, that's if I remember correctly. Yeah, he was not just like many people of his time, or many writers of note, I suppose.
Planes is not great for the environment. Eating crustaceans is even worse. Let's also talk about habitat destruction. Right, we should consider and conceptualize our oceans as life. They're the center of life on this planet. And historically...
Trami says Kafka was a paragon of mental health. Prof says trawling is the seafloor equivalent to the combine harvesters that make this dude's impossible slop. Exactly. It's just like you're just trading one thing for another. And you don't get to have the moral high ground by doing so.
They've been home to 80% of life on this planet. Right? If we can think about the Earth as a living entity, most of it has been stored, most of it has been living in our oceans.
What? All right, well, let's skip ahead. I can't do too much more of this.
Every minute, that's 5 million people. 5 million people who want to live, who feel fear, who feel joy, who have...
All right, might have to back it up a few seconds there.
The amount of this destruction and death is really hard to comprehend. Right? Every year we kill 2.7 million individuals in our oceans. Every minute, that's 5 million people.
They just completely anthropomorphize animals. And they act like the loss is the same. Or that we qualify it the same way. Or that even animals would understand it in the same way. Which clearly they do not.
5 million people who want to live, who feel fear, who feel joy, who have families. 5 million people every single year that we're killing.
Hagbert says, I'm sorry, I don't know why this dread beehive bun is infuriating me. Oh yeah, that's like the man bun to the max. Take no prisoners. Yeah, he looks like a lady from Baltimore. Hey, hon. Hey, hon.
Many people have been introducing aquaculture as an alternative. Think factory farms, but underwater. And in many ways, aquaculture is even worse than traditional practices. It results in more animals dying. It's more toxic and more polluting. It's less sustainable. Aquaculture is not the solution. Simply put, there's no ethical way to eat sea life. There's no humane way to kill someone who wants to live. There's no sustainable way to rape and pillage our seas. I'm an activist with direct action everywhere. We are activists with direct action everywhere. And we believe in creating revolutionary change for animals around this world. We believe in fomenting systemic change. I want to be
Go do some calisthenics.
As normal. It's not normal. And so if any piece of this has resonated with you, whether online or here in person, we urge you to join us. This movement is growing rapidly. We're on the brink of true revolutionary change for non-humans, but we need y'all's support. So if you Google nomorefactoryfarms.com, you can sign our petition and get actively involved. We're building a brighter future for everyone here, for our children, and we need your support. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, buddy. Big Paul says, because you're a man. Travis says, we're with action to the max. Hot fuck fish action to the max. Activist group. Hagbert says, fuck this guy. One of my favorite activities is surf casting. All right, let's see what else he's got.
No more!
No more. No more. Right to rescue. Oh, whew. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost tapped out.
This is the turning point against this corporation where we're just getting started and we're on the road to shutting them.
Oh, there he is. He's right there. Standing strong. Got a communist rose inside of his chicken. Serious stuff.
Down and the road to animal liberation.
Why was he wearing his mask a moment ago? This guy's got his mask down. He comes up to the microphone, pulls his mask down while this guy still has his mask down. You guys, this is a super spreader event and you're trying to kill old people.
Hey, team. So, yeah, Cam just said it all, but I guess I'll add up.
Cam just said it all, but I will talk for about another 5 or 6 minutes.
Add in a little bit of my personal experiences and our personal experiences from what the action was like. For me, one of the most powerful parts of it was being on top of the roof, holding the banner, and seeing all of y'all down here in the streets. I mean, it's just so...
See, they do these things just to make themselves feel good. I don't think they even really... At the end of the day, do they even give a fuck about animals? Or is this just some sort of just virtuous cope? The best thing was just seeing you all out here, you praising me, holding the banner. Oh, God. Electric. Electric. Hagbert says, Ross Trent saving the chickens.
Impactful and powerful. And like when we come together like this, I mean, we are changing the world as we speak.
We're changing the world as we speak, he says. How? Specifically. Travis says, of course, this is a power trip for the few at the top. Yeah, for the people that have the free time to be able to do this. Like, what a touched lives some of these people must have. It's just all of the things you could do, spending your energy to be productive in society. And you're doing this for like personal clout for about 5,000 other people.
And like Cam said, things are just getting started. So, Friday morning, just a few days ago, a group of activists came into this slaughterhouse and attempted to rescue a pig, and they named her Greta. So those 7 activists got in, and were so close to rescuing a pig. And I think for that reason, a lot of us are here to be rescuing every pig. Until last night we came, right? And no trucks came. And like the kind of power that is, like 8,000 lives saved just because we came here. Like it makes you want to turn this 48-hour vigil into a 365-day vigil. But like what we're doing here, like...
Then do it, asshole. If you think that fucking life is on the line, precious life, you've stopped trucks from being delivered to the slaughterhouse. You force them to go to different slaughterhouses. If you think that you're saving lives, if it is that precious, then wouldn't it be worth it? Wouldn't it be worth it? Or are you just here to get attention and do a stump speech? Trami says, this is just like human rights activists, which I personally know a few of, who want to go to war zones to pet refugees rather than ... Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's just about like how you feel. It's not about being productive or achieving anything. It's about just not feeling helpless. That's all it is. He says, to pet refugees rather than do administrative work back home that actually makes a difference doesn't feel as good. Exactly. Like, it's hard work actually making change. It's hard work getting involved in the systems or the government, the bureaucracies that control these things, that require them to actually do something.
Smithfield is terrified of our power and what we're doing. They don't want the public to see.
And you could suggest that Nico is a true believer in the sense that he's gone to college for it. He's going to go to law school, or he's in the midst of going to law school for his cause. So to be fair to him, even though if I disagree with him or I think what he's doing is stupid and a waste of time, like, he is at least doing that, I suppose. If I were to be charitable, let's try to be fair, as much as we can.
We're casting a light directly on it. So anyway, we're up on the roof, seeing all of y'all beautiful faces, and seeing the power that we have, and it's in those moments that I know we're going to win. It's just a matter of time, but I have no doubt that we're on the path to victory.
I hope this takes a turn to say that the election was stolen.
But yeah, so after we tied the banner down, we walked around a little bit and peered off the edge. And it's fucking hell back there. The sounds, the smells, the taste in the air, it's just acrid. The whole roof is coated in this weird slime. It's slippery, and we had to tread very nimbly.
He's like, it was like being at the precipice of a portal to hell. It's like, have you ever seen the film Prince of Darkness? The slime, I mean. Trami says he's also in too deep to quit. He can't not do this without being rejected by his entire circle. Yeah, his entire identity is built around this. The attention that he gets from his friends and followers, etc. This is it.
Because it's just the death that's in the air. It gets trapped on the roof. But yeah, when we peeked off the edge, even when you peek back there, you can see these fumes. It's this factory of death. And so once we were apprehended by security and let out, we went through the staircases, through the stairwells, and we could just see the different parts of the slaughterhouse. The steaming water being fed into the tanks with these animals who have just been killed or dunked in. The constant clanging of the slaughter line, and it's hard to breathe. I was wearing 2 masks at the time, but just how strong the stench of death is, it makes your eyes water, and it made my eyes water with tears, but also just the quality of air is that awful. So yeah, being walked through the bowels of hell to eventually be arrested by the police was, just really. It's as bad as you can imagine. If I was to create.
It's like if you were to construct a fantasy in your head, whatever that is, that's what it is. Prof says the pig they saved was let loose in the woods to live free. It went feral within 12 days, grew 12 husks, and proceeded to gore hundreds of small creatures before finally getting ripped apart by coyotes after getting too sick to fight. Good job.
A film.
Or it died in their care because they don't know actually how to take care of animals. That would also probably be a thing.
And create this environment of hell. That's what it looks like. And so everybody here, we know that slaughterhouses will not exist in the future. Right? Slaughterhouse.
A little red meat for the crowd.
Have no role in the future in the society that all of us want to live in, and it's through actions like this when we come together that we will be creating that. So yeah, no doubt, like we're going to ban slaughterhouses. We're coming here in a large part to be pressuring Governor Gavin Newsom to be placing a moratorium on the creation of new slaughterhouses and factory farms. You know, enough is enough. They're killing.
Man, they're killing immigrants. They're killing immigrants. They're killing legal and illegal immigrants in this country. Where do you think they work? Where do you think they work, dude? Where do you think poor people work?
Billions of animals every year. They're killing the planet. They're killing us. Right behind us, this is one of the #1 hotspots of COVID in the entire country. So we cannot survive as a society.
One of the #1 hotspots of COVID in the entire country is this slaughterhouse.
As a functioning society, as long
Big Paul says, yeah, Newsom will get right on that.
As slaughterhouses like this continue to exist, the first, most pragmatic step is for Governor Gavin Newsom to sign a moratorium forbidding the expansion of new factories of death, right? It's a pretty basic ask. He has it in his power, and we need him to step up, stand on the right side of history with activists who are putting their lives on the line, really, and their freedom on the line, to do the right thing and to shut this shit down.
He's like, I don't know about you guys, but talking to crowds that agree with me rocks.
So, I think most of us are going to be here all night. Thank you all so much for coming. And as Cam said, like, shit's just getting started. Let's go, team. Let's go.
Trami wants to know, are you putting your life on the line when this is your life? That's a good way to put it, man.
This is the turning point.
Trami also says, like, being arrested is practically in your job description. Yeah, this is what they do, right? This is their whole deal. That's the best day of their life. It's like when you watch those nerd commentators on YouTube and a Marvel movie is bad. It's the best day of their life. They got something to talk about for a fucking month.
Yo, what's up, team? I am here in Kapurgana.
Oh my god, a lot of appropriation going on, making me uncomfortable.
North Colombia, right on the border with Panama. Spending a few days here with some friends that I met in Medellin last year. We're doing some...
Spending some time with some friends I met in Medellin last year. International man. Oh, spends his free times. When he's not liberating animals and getting arrested for it, he's out traveling. He's out, having fun, flying on planes, taking buses. Trami says, me being arrested would actually destroy my life. Nico being arrested is a career development. Exactly.
Scuba diving, hanging out, and I just wanted to check in with some thoughts about the Liberation Pledge, right? That commitment to never eat around other folk who are eating animal products. So we're here in this tiny little oceanside village. There's no vegan restaurants, obviously, and all the...
So I've been eating leaves off of these trees. It's almost like these people are too poor to care about what I care about. Oh my goodness. Hagbert says he invented the Post-it note. He has a disposable income.
Colombian friends I'm making here are not vegan. And so last night we were figuring out where we would be eating and figuring out those dynamics. And everybody obviously wanted to be eating animal products. And so I just very, buena, ¿cómo está? So I just very succinctly and friendly and empathetically explained my position, this commitment I've made, how long I've made the commitment, the reason for the commitment,
Imagine you're with your friends, and then you get lectured by some dude that you met in Medellin about why he will not eat with you. He will not break bread with you. He will not go to a restaurant with you. Because, I don't know. He can't just sit there and drink water. No, that's too much. He can't even be a part of it to that extent. Oh, nice Ray-Bans, by the way. Nice $400 frames, buddy.
My passion for justice, my passion for animal rights, and how it hurts me to see other people eating animals.
How many animals died to outfit this guy? How many animals died to make these glasses? How many things were caught up in this system?
And so some folk were confused at first, but then pretty quickly all jumped on board and were supportive. We ordered 3 large vegan pizzas, dank-ass pizzas without cheese. Most of them had never had something like that, had never even considered the possibility of eating pizza without cheese, eating vegan pizza.
Yeah, because that's fucking lame. That's why. Because it's fucking lame, because pizza is good, and you are lame.
And it was cool. Like, by the end, like, everyone was saying, like, how dank this food was, how special it was. And yeah, it was just cool to be able to, first, to share some vegan food with them, because they wouldn't have shared it before. They wouldn't have tried it before. They wouldn't have even considered it before. Planting ideas about the importance of eating vegan, how important it is to me, clarifying that I don't think it's a personal decision, and clarifying, like, my values and, yeah, why I'm willing to fight for them, why I'm willing to sacrifice for them, and that I'm not willing to tolerate other people not doing the same. Yeah, honestly, like, it made my bond with these individuals so much stronger, like, knowing that they're down to respect me, that they're down to like, honor my values regardless.
Me, and me. Travis says, yeah, they were being polite.
Whether they share them at this point.
Exactly, Trami. Again, he's talking about himself. Travis says, I feel like my 2-year-old could throttle this motherfucker. definitely lay down the law, for sure.
Is a huge factor in strengthening our personal relationship. And yeah, them seeing, like, my vulnerability and my willing to, like, really go out on a limb, and the trust that I have in them, that they're going to support me, like, also helped to strengthen our relationship. So by the end of the night, like...
Imagine if they hadn't, though. Would you extend to them the same amount of empathy that they have extended to you? The answer is no. He would not. He wouldn't. Because this is just about him. Like, this is like... You know, we watch so many people like this. This deep sense of narcissism they have. The world owes them everything. Their social groups owe them everything. They need to be listened to. They need to be heard. And there is nothing else. There is nothing else. And they can try to construct it in this virtuous kind of paradigm. They try to say it's like, well, you know, this is because of my beliefs and the strength of those. But it doesn't ever sound like that. It doesn't ever come off like that. Tarami says, is this a crutch for everything in his life? I think so, because that's the thing that draws attention to him. He gets to constantly feel important by lecturing people and having people capitulate. Because most people like to, you know, go along to get along. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to have a problem with this dude. They've invited him to this place. And they just want to accommodate him. And he sees that as like some great moral victory.
Our relationship's stronger. I feel a lot better about, like, being able to hang out with them, because if I saw them eating animal products, we wouldn't be having any more friendship or relationship.
See? There it is right there. If they did not capitulate to me and my demands, then we would not be friends. I wish they had, so he could try to figure out what the fuck he was going to do with the rest of his time in this place.
Planted ideas about veganism, about the importance of these issues, about its feasibility, how even in a very, very remote, tiny village on the ocean, with no vegan restaurants, how it's possible to...
With no vegan restaurants, because that's all there is. Like, if I can't be served somewhere, and engage in the vegan lifestyle that way, I mean, I don't know, what am I going to do? Eat sand? Hagler says, I feel like this guy should watch the Troy McClure film strip on the meat industry and stop being a grade A moron. Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
To eat vegan. So it's a win-win-win from all sides. The food was like half the price it would have been with animal products on it, and so everyone was like blown away that the food tasted just as good but was cheaper. And I think this is how we change the world. I really do not think that being a vegan by yourself, just making the decision and letting other people around you eat whatever foods they want is going to change much. It's like ordering gluten-free pizza. It's like not going to change the world. I think we need to be a lot more direct with our activism, empathetically direct and compassionately direct.
You're not empathetically or compassionately direct because you said you would have nothing to do with them had they eaten something you did not want them to eat. So that would have been the end of the conversation. That is not actually trying to change minds. That's just you imposing your bullshit on people.
But to not tolerate the violent decisions and the violent consumption of others, and to invite people to consume empathetically and mindfully with us. Anyway, those are some thoughts. I'm gonna go get back to hanging out with some buddies. I just want to let you know that, like, wherever you are on Earth, like, very seriously, wherever you are on Earth, being vegan is possible, practicing the Liberation Pledge is possible, and practicing the Liberation Pledge is transformative. All right, love y'all.
It's transformative because you get to annoy everyone around you. Oh, here we go. Look at this happy boy.
Yo, what's poppin', fam? I hope this message finds you well, your loved ones well, and that your day's off to a good start. So I'm creating this video.
This guy looks like he could use a fucking cheeseburger.
To ask y'all for some advice.
Trami says, I will take this to the suburbs of Wakaliga in Uganda. Yeah. yeah, because he's like, even in a small town where there's no vegan restaurants and people don't like that, you can just do it anyways. Because you can order your pizza without cheese or meat. Wow, God, really changing the world out there, buddy.
To get some feedback. I've been thinking a lot in recent days about whether or not I'm going to stay on social media or call it quits. Because on the one hand, I don't know.
Oh, he's going to stay on social media. He's going to stay.
Social media is such a privilege. It's such an opportunity to be able to connect with rad folk like y'all around the world and to maintain our relationships. But on the other hand, it does take a lot of energy and a lot of time. And I often think and question whether I could be spending my time in a more effective way. So after a lot...
Could I be lecturing and being a ninny to my other friends that I've met around the globe instead of talking to you as a skeleton?
Of consideration, I've decided to stay on social media, but for the central purpose of empowering my activism, empowering y'all's activism, and together empowering the movement for our collective and total liberation.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thank you for your work, sir. Hagbard says, Wakaliga is lovely in the spring. Trami says, home of Wakali Wood. It can't all be bad. And then Prophet says, great, I'm debating a fucking Sam Hyde skit. Well, it should be right at home.
And been thinking about the most effective way to serve in that capacity and to be empowering y'all, empowering the movement. And I've got a good idea. And it's on this topic that I want to be asking y'all's advice. So in recent years, right, in the year leading up to my MA, especially during my master's program, and since then, I've spent an inordinate amount of time, like so many hours, reading about the animal liberation movement, right? Reading about its history, the core principles, and I think most importantly about the future of the movement, right? Like what animal liberation.
Did you read about the Fabian Society, sir?
Actually looks like, and the specific ways we're going to get there. And I feel very at home. Like I love this academic space. It's someplace I thrive. But unfortunately, I feel like in a lot of ways there's a big disconnect between the academic space of animal studies and activists on the ground. And I'd like to play a small role in bridging that gap. Because...
Big Paul says, there he goes again with the grad degree. Oh, yeah, he's got to bring it up as much as possible. That's how we know to take him seriously. Hybrid says, can we get Diane to co-referee the debate if this happens? Oh, my God. I would love that. I would love that. Big Paul says, screams, I know nothing about the world. No, because his entire existence has been surrounding getting this degree and reading things that he already agrees with.
For one, I do think that academics have a tremendous amount to learn from us activists who are on the front lines every day.
Oh, don't you love that? Yeah, let's infect academia with activism. What a fucking great way to like have objective intellectual pursuit. What a great way to learn about things objectively. My God.
Engaging with people, right? Entering these places of violence, entering slaughter farms and factory farms, rescuing individuals, and living that animal liberation ethic to its fullest. But I also think that we as activists have a tremendous amount to gain from animal studies academics. Those individuals.
Animal studies academics? Come on now, brother. Prophet says, I'm shocked this guy thrives in an academic space. I'm busy thriving on the evolutionary ladder. Trauma says, and I mean, he's what, 30 plus? I don't even know if he's that old. I mean, it's hard to tell, you know? He's a vegan, so he's definitely, his physical body, his face has aged a little bit faster than probably the average person's. Big Paul says, I think he's in his 20s. Yeah, I think he's in his late 20s.
We're thinking really, really deeply, critically, consistently, and rigorously about these ideas. And I think that we as activists stand to gain a lot from engaging with this literature.
Big Paul says, you try to find a vegan to debate a butcher. Hey, man, I think the work is solid. I think this is a solid entry into the canon of Zoobox. I think, like, you know, if anything, we got tonight. If anything, we got tonight. Prof says, what's this guy's name again? It's Nico Stuber, Nicostuber.
So what I'd like to do is create some sort of bridge between these two with a series of posts summarizing what I think are some of the most important academic works in the space.
Here's his LinkedIn that I totally found myself.
Theorizing the future of the movement. And want to create that content in the way that's best for y'all. So I got two ideas, two options. One are your typical posts, right? A cute little picture followed by a few paragraphs of text. It's definitely the format that I feel most comfortable in, but I'm also down to spice it up with option two, which would be a series of videos like this, much more conversational. Maybe 5-minute videos, same content, just a different format. So if this kind of content, right, summaries, like introductions and summaries to some of the ideas that I think are really important and empowering from the academic space, if access to those kind of summaries be something you'd be interested in, please drop a comment below if you prefer in video format or.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for disseminating the information. Oh, this guy's gonna fuck this chicken. Bestiality.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Oh, this is more of his vacation vlogs. Oh yeah, during a global pandemic, during COVID, this guy's out there just living his best life, hanging out. Just what a fuck.
Fam, hope this video finds you well. So this is going to be the first video of what may become a short series, introducing y'all and summarizing what I believe are some of the most important academic works in the animal studies space.
All right, Prophet, pay attention.
Thanks for all the feedback that I got in the video I made a few days ago asking for what kind of formats you like. It's looking like I'm going to be doing some videos, some written, but this one's going to be video. So as I posted a few days ago, I'm deeply supportive of farmed animal sanctuaries. For those of you who are not familiar with farmed animal sanctuaries, they're essentially little heavens on earth. They create spaces for farmed animals to live out their lives in peace. So while every farmed animal sanctuary is different, they tend to host and house animals rescued from factory farms and from slaughterhouses.
Oh, okay. What great places. I'm sure there's very many of them that are well kept up. What would you do if that 70 million animals were liberated? What would you guys do with them all? What would you do with them all? I'm very curious. Prophet says, when do we get the Nico Cuck Simulator DLC? Well, we gotta contact Team Sneed. Trami says it's all abstracts. It's the academic space, not a department or field of study. No, it's not. It's activist education. That's all it is. How could it possibly be anything else?
And create basically peaceful environments for these animals to live in peace. If you're interested in learning a bit more about farmed animal sanctuaries, right, their history, their dynamics, their politics. I highly recommend checking out Elan Abrams' book, Saving Animals, Multi-Species Ecologies of Care. It's by far the best book I'm aware of in the space. And I guess a quick disclaimer, Elon is a good friend, but I would be recommending his book regardless. But while I'm deep...
He's a good friend. Oh, he's name dropping. Fame whore. Fame whore. Big Paul says, Trami, if you have to have a grad degree to get it or listen to these breakdowns of enlightenment. Prophet says he creates an environment to let animals fuck him.
Deeply supportive
I'll say
of
that.
farmed animal sanctuaries. I also believe the movement can be doing a lot better in this space. And so in an article titled Farmed Animal Sanctuaries, The Heart of the Movement, Sue Donaldson and Will Kimlicka outline a...
Prophet says he creates an environment to let animals live in peace. I create an environment to let them rest in peace. Well, yeah. Life is pain.
List of critiques
doing them all a favor.
Farmed animal sanctuaries at present, and kind of do some theorizing and thinking about how these systems can be made better moving forward. So in the next few minutes, I want to succinctly cover that article, note what I think are some of the big pitfalls of farmed animal sanctuaries as they're currently constructed, and think about how we can be making them better moving forward. So throughout the article, Will and Sue note in particular four critiques. One of them is a critique of animals as refugees, because at present that's largely how farmed animal sanctuaries are constructed. They're constructed as refugee camps, right? We're waging a war against non-human animals, and there are these little pockets of space, of refuge around.
This is another thing they do. They try to the non-human animals. They just want to equalize everything out. You are just an animal. You have no higher value or ethic. You're just a beast. You're just a beast. We're all the same. We're all the same. Trami says to Big Paul, I'm trying, but I keep spacing out. Yeah. I hear you, brother.
A world where farmed animals can live out their life in peace. And we largely treat these animals as refugees. But unlike the human context, whereas refugee camps are meant to be temporary, farmed animal sanctuaries are meant to be permanent. And because of this, the idea is that farmed animal sanctuaries as a refuge, as refugee camps, is an inappropriate model. And so instead, Will and Sue encourage us to reconceptualize farmed animals on these sanctuaries as citizens, as co-inhabitants, as co-equals in these spaces.
There you go.
Where they...
It's not even that deep of a thing that they're trying to impart. It's just something that people naturally reject.
Are not just passing through, where they're not wards, but they're actually equal residents in these spaces.
Prophet says you're just an animal until it's time to have a deep dive into genetics.
The second critique is of farmed animals as ambassadors. Right? Because
that's why somebody like this goes into the education sphere. He goes into the intellectual sphere, because they don't ask each other questions like that. They all presuppose those concepts, so they don't ever address them. They just assume, well, that's truth. That's reality. It's very similar to antinatalism in that way. They just assume that they all agree, and they don't have to explain anything deeper to what they're saying. They just assume that you agree. If you're looking into antinatalism, well, you're curious and you just agree. Same thing here. It's not any different in terms of how it functions.
Generally speaking, we tend to view farmed animals on sanctuaries as ambassadors to the rest of their species, as the few lucky ones who've gotten away, and we use them to teach the...
Trami hits the nail on the head. Axiomatic ideology. Assume X, Y, Z are correct, then extrapolate. It's like science fiction in that. Exactly. 100%.
Public about what goes on factory farms, about what goes on in slaughterhouses. But this is problematic for two main reasons. One of them is that it instrumentalizes these animals, right? We in a sense use them to be ambassadors of the rest of the species without asking them. in a way that's very, very similar to what goes on in zoos, right? The justification for zoos is that we're going to take these few individual animals out of the wild, plop them in these cages, and allow them to educate humanity about what these animals are like, to encourage them to protect them. And it's the same rationality that we're using with farmed animals as ambassadors.
I don't think that's the purpose of zoos. I mean, the purpose of zoos is definitely for education, but it's not to impart to us the idea that we should be protecting them. Because most animals in zoos that you encounter are not like found naturally in the Western world.
The second critique here is...
That's another thing they try to do. They try to say, oh, we already do these things anyways. This is already what you think anyways. This is already what you believe. Don't you understand that? You already think what I think.
Currently, farmed animals are seen as ambassadors of an unjust present. But Will and Sue ask us to be reconceptualizing them as pioneers for a just future. Right? So not representing the current state and representing the current like fucked up situation that farmed animals are living in, but in creating a system where these animals can be pioneering new ways of being, new ways of relating with humans. All right.
What? Like, how? Okay, that's another one of these points he will brush right by. Like, oh, they're going to reconceptualize what it means, what our relationship means to animals, and they will do in kind. Like, what does that fucking mean? The fuck does that mean? That's not how animals operate. They just don't have the brain matter for it. That's not to say you should abuse animals or anything, but Jesus Christ, come on.
The third critique is of the fact that most farmed animal sanctuaries tend to be in rural areas. And this is for a few reasons. Two pragmatic reasons. One of which is that most of the supplies and
Trami says, will sharks not eat me because I don't eat them? Well, as long as you're in a sanctuary and they could reconceptualize the nature of your relationship, then no, of course not.
And resources that are needed to take care of farmed animals are located in rural settings, right? Food and veterinary care in particular. And so locating in these areas facilitates their care. Second is that legal zoning laws tend to prohibit farmed animals from living in urban settings. So
what do you want? You think farm animals would be happy in your fucking little, like, your little garden behind you, the fucking your $2,000 a month fucking hovel? Give me a break.
Legally speaking, it's the easiest place to have these. But having all of our farmed animal sanctuaries in bucolic rural settings is problematic for a few reasons. But most specifically is that it continues to enshrine the idea that the space that farmed animals are welcome in our society is only in these rural farm-like settings.
Yeah, let's give him a top hat and pull a chair up to the table. This guy's like, he read Animal Farm and he's like, well, that's how it is. That's how it is, dude. Yeah, totally. They're like, they anthropomorphize them. Like, this is almost, this video might be the craziest video we've watched. Just this statement here. It's some form of bigotry or oppression to put animals out in the boonies where maybe they would be happier, maybe they would thrive because they don't want to live in a fucking urban area like you do, Nico. Prophet says, Jesus Christ. Hegbert says, remind the shark, friend not food. Prophet says, we saved this veal calf. He's the perfect size for our apartment. 3 months later. Hey, what's up, Gaming Dragon? Welcome to D-Live, my friend.
Right, it continues to frame them as being separate and as located in these rural settings away from us, away from cities. Yeah,
he's trying to make the argument that, like, because we do that, it separates the animal from the person. That we can't cohabitate. No, animals cannot cohabitate for the most part in urban settings. They cannot. A cow does not want to live in your fucking apartment and be taken for a walk once a day.
Second, whenever humans go and visit them, especially humans that are not super familiar with the dynamics of factory farming and slaughterhouses, what they see are essentially like the types of farms that we're all grown up seeing, in the kind of ways we tend to imagine farmed animals existing, right? In these beautiful, bucolic, pleasant settings, like green pastures and happy animals. And it helps to cement the idea that these kind of farms exist, when we realize in reality this isn't the case, right? 99% of animal products in the US are produced on factory farms. But having these little refuges, in these bucolic settings continues to inscribe the idea that these kind of farms can exist, which we know is very problematic. So,
what is problematic about wanting animals to live on farmland? Like what, as opposed to what? Very problematic.
Okay, and the fourth critique that Will and Sue bring up is that farmed animal sanctuaries tend to prioritize negative rights over positive rights. And by that, they mean that farmed animal sanctuaries tend to only prioritize the safety, the basic needs of farmed animals. In the same way that jails...
They only prioritize the basic safety and needs of farm animals. Very problematic.
Do with humans, right? So in jails, humans have all their basic needs met. They get food, they get shelter, they have access to the bathroom, they have access to medical care. And that's essentially what we give to farmed animals in sanctuaries. But clearly this is not enough for humans in jails, and nor is it enough for farmed animals in sanctuaries. So instead...
this is not enough for humans in jails, therefore... Whoa. Trami says, no, they existed for tens of thousands of years. Not without lofts. Don't you think your cow would like to live in a loft? Gaming Dragon says, this guy looks like a Padawan. A little bit.
Will and Sue are asking us to think deeper about deeper positive duties that we have to farmed animals. And they name four, or they list four in particular. The first one is association. Right, the right to association, giving farmed animals the right to hang out with whoever they want to hang out with. A lot of farmed animal sanctuaries are segregated. Certain farmed animals live with certain species live with certain species, and this is done in part to ensure their safety, right? Because a cow stepping on a chicken isn't good.
Look how like fucking childish and pedantic this is. Well, a cow, might step on a chicken. That's not good, so they shouldn't live together, but that's just kind of bigoted. Because cows know better. Like, what is this guy even fucking talking about? Like, this is crazy. Travis says, I think foxes and chickens should live together. I guess so. I guess he's just like, well, who are... I don't even know what he's saying. I don't even know how to be charitable to what he is saying.
But second, it also facilitates and makes human care of these animals a bit easier. But by their very...
It makes human care for these animals easier. So anything that makes this process easier and more efficient should be what you're shooting for. Not for being like, well, we got to really break down these barriers and we can't just be doing this.
By the very nature of being domesticated animals, farmed animals thrive in multi-species ecologies, right? They get a lot of value from hanging out with other species, just like us humans do.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. The prophet says we put all 30 of our chickens in with the pig and now they're missing. Why did they run away? Huh?
And so Will and Sue encourage us to be enabling farmed animals to choose who they hang out with.
Crazy.
And when we give them this choice, it's pretty surprising, but they tend to flourish in multi-species societies. The second is reproduction, the freedom of reproduction. Most farmed animal sanctuaries prohibit reproduction to occur. And the rationale here is pretty simple, right? It's like we have billions of animals, farmed animals already in the world. We don't have enough space for them, so the idea is that it might be unethical for us to be bringing more farmed animals into this world, and better to be prioritizing creating space for farmed animals that are already existing. And in some ways this is true, but the reality is that farmed animals, just like us, have needs for sex and have needs for...
Oh my God, he sounds like the animal passions guy. I want them to enjoy their bodies, physically, sexually. Trummy says he is not kidding you.
family. And by denying them sex, and by denying them family dynamics, we're deeply violating who they are as individuals, who they are as people. And
who they are as people, who they are as individuals, as if animals conceptualize the concepts of family and relationships in the same way that we do. Jesus Christ. Trummy said the circle is completed. Prophet says, livestock antinatalism. We have made it, gentlemen. Travis says, take on a cow and fuck her. Well, she's just a person. Just another person. Sweet.
So...
That's not what you would say to a cow. That's what you would say to a pig. But I think you get my point.
Sue and Will encourage us to think, to challenge a notion that's either reproduction, like all reproduction, hella reproduction, or no reproduction. And there's a balance. You can allow these non-human animals to have sex, and you can allow some babies to be produced. And these babies create multi-generational societies in the farmed animal.
This guy needs to take up the cause. He needs to go to these animal sanctuaries. He needs to jerk these animals off. He needs to be the animal whisperer. The animal coomer. Hagbert says, we have achieved Zoobox recursion. Pack it in. I know. We've come full circle. There is nothing else. It all leads back to this weird shit. No matter what. Prof says, I saw vegan propaganda that referred to artificial insemination as raped into existence. Free hardcore song title, gentlemen. Raped into existence. I have heard that as well, yeah.
Animals are able to live much more fulfilling lives by rearing animals and experiencing life in that way, just as we as humans live more fulfilling lives by having multi-generational societies. Third is environment.
Whoa.
So the third idea is environment. So most farmed animal sanctuaries are very, very sterilized. They look like farms. They're totally green pastures. They're desnuded. And the idea here, again, is to create safe spaces for animals. But they're boring, right? There's not much... they're boring. And so a lot of farmed animal sanctuaries, or some, are starting to play around with different types of dynamics. Forests, bushes, shrubbery, native plants, animals like deer, and creating spaces that look much more like wildlife without humans, giving farmed animals a much...
How are you going to do that in urban areas? Wasn't that your whole thing like 5 minutes ago? That putting animals in those places is actually kind of problematic.
Richer experience, a much richer type of area to live in. And fourth is work. We tend to be very shy about having non-human animals work because it's seen as a way of using them. But just like for humans, we get a tremendous amount of benefit, a tremendous amount of value in working and producing. And farmed animals are the same way. And so Kimlicka and Donaldson encourage us to allow animals to explore with different types of work and to explore with production, to explore with work and to get value in their lives via that way. And in all this, they really are encouraging us to explore different ways of being, right? To an experiment, to allow farmed animals, and in doing so, to treat farmed animals as co-equals, right? Not as wards, but as co-equal citizens, allowing them to choose what they want, how they want to live.
What the fuck is this guy's... What the fuck? Like, how many animals has he actually spent time around? I grew up on kind of a farm for a little bit. I mean, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Hagbert says, chickens make lousy carpenters. I know. Prophet says, is this dude trying to get farm animals to sew soccer balls? I guess in his perfect world, he's like, he's like, well, like, you guys should contribute a little bit more.
Listening to them, watching them, learning, and experimenting We're in this very transitionary state, but the idea is the more we experiment, the more we listen, the more we learn, the better we'll be able to create environments that really do honor the individuality and personhood of these animals. So that was a long one, but it's an important article, and I wanted to get it off.
Dude, that shit's insane. That's just like completely batshit fucking crazy. Not attached to reality at all. Chicken fucker one. Good God.
Ya vamos a empezar en un momento con Nico. Ya les voy a contar quién es él.
Well, I don't speak Spanish.
El compromiso por la
Los otra gente, como cuando aceptamos que la otra gente.
We can't watch that because I don't speak Spanish. Apologies. So this is the last video he has. What is this from? This is from October 18th, 2021. Out there really fighting the fight, this guy.
So yesterday, I was arrested alongside 8 brave activists on the driveway of Governor Gavin Newsom. We were arrested.
Well, there it is. There's the clout. He's like, well, I was arrested. I was out there doing the good work, and I was arrested. Everybody's like, fuck yeah, Nico. Oh, fuck, I'm creaming, dude. I'm creaming for you, Nico. I'm creaming. Trump says, like I said, being arrested is a career move. Exactly.
To ask Governor Gavin Newsom, to demand Governor Gavin Newsom to take action on the issues that he says he cares about. Right? He says he cares about climate change. Outside of a catchy photo op.
Trump says, I was arrested. Gotta leave out it was for a possession.
What is he doing to actually address climate change?
That lady's just trying to get by. She's like, you motherfuckers taking up the goddamn sidewalk. Gotta walk on the fucking road.
The other 8 brave activists. We were not there for ourselves. I can promise you, every one of us would rather be...
Egbert says DCC Local 369, chicken carpenters, and they demand a raise.
Doing a lot of different things with our Wednesday mornings. Right? We spent the whole day in jail. This is not what we want to be doing, but this is what we need to be doing. So we weren't there for ourselves, but we were there for every single Californian. We were there for the children of every single Californian, right, whose future is very uncertain. Here in California, we know firsthand the impact of climate change, right? We're seeing it with our own eyes. Last fall, I remember leaving my house in Berkeley and looking up at the sky. It was like noon, and it was dark outside. It was an apocalypse. Everything had a red tint to it, right? Smoke clogged everything. I remember wearing N95 masks, not for COVID, but because the air quality here in the Berkeley, here in the San Francisco Bay Area, was so toxic that it was dangerous to walk.
You live in the fucking Berkeley. You live in the San Francisco Bay Area. What a prince.
Walk outside.
I had to step over several masturbating homeless men and adjust my mask just to get to the vegan restaurant and order my no cheese pizza.
Right, so here in California, we know firsthand the impact of climate change. But as Paul so eloquently said, we have it easy. Right, people around the world do not have it like us. I lived in Nicaragua for 2 years. And my Nicaraguan family...
Nicaragua. You can always spot an asshole when they try to, like, do the rolls, you know?
...have been forced to flee. My whole community has been forced to flee.
Hagbard says, well, stop burning shit down, dickhead. Which is a legit point, I suppose, in the time frame he was talking about.
...their homeland, where their generations have lived, generation after generation, not because they want to immigrate to the United States, but because they cannot survive in their homeland. Right? Crops are dying.
Yeah, they do want to immigrate here. For the reasons you're about to say. That is why they want to immigrate here. Prof says Nicaragua. Prof says I almost lost my 151.
So for them, it's a matter of life and death today. 2 years ago, it was a matter of life and death. And here in California, we're contributing to that. We're building factory farms, we're building slaughterhouses, and we know that this industry is one of the most climately toxic industries on Earth. Right? We know that if we're going to have any chance at a habitable future for your children, for my children, for the world's children, we need to be ending this industry now, immediately, not expanding it. Right? So, yesterday, we were willing to get arrested to ask Governor Gavin Newsom to do something that we already support. Ask anybody in the state, for the most part, if you support this measure, and they're already going to tell you yes. This isn't a controversial message. This isn't a controversial measure. Right? It's common sense. The first thing to do to get out of a hole is to stop digging it. Governor Newsom, this isn't a radical ask. This is a basic ask. Right? So if you care about your children, if you care about the state's children, we need you to be taking direct action right now and placing a moratorium. Stop the expansion of factory farms and stop the expansion of slaughterhouses.
Trami asked, did you guys catch that he was arrested? It was so severe they didn't release him until hours later.
State legislators, as Paul again so eloquently said, we support you in this office so much in so many ways. And I too voted for many of you. Right, but we need you to do
Yeah, you voted for them because you're a virtue signaling prick.
better. We need you to be looking out for our future, for our children's future. This is a very simple measure we can take to address climate change head on. You can take it tomorrow, and we need you to step up. No more! No more! Slaughterhouses!
Shut them down!
Slaughterhouses!
Shut them down!
No more!
Factory farms!
No more!
Factory farms!
Slaughterhouses!
Shut them down!
Slaughterhouses!
Shut them down!
Wow, very powerful stuff from Nico. And that's the last video, I think. I think that's the last video on his Insta. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote, everybody. Well, that was a thorough exploration of Nico Stuber. Oh, before we go, though, let's look at his LinkedIn. Or we could look at the Liberation page. Let's look at the Liberation page that he was talking about earlier. Then we'll look at his LinkedIn, and then we'll probably call it a night. So here's the Liberation page. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Burp. The Liberation Pledge. While addressing the harms of animal agriculture and industrial fishing requires systemic change, e.g. banning the sale of meat, individual-level activism is needed to get there. And the Liberation Pledge is a particularly effective option. The Liberation Pledge entails a commitment to never eat around those consuming animal products. By doing so, the pledge enables activists to more effectively challenge the harms of animal agriculture and industrial fishing than via passive veganism alone. The more I've thought about the Liberation Pledge, the more I've come to believe in its efficacy. This page presents the work I've done on the topic. I hope these resources help readers come to share my support for the pledge, and in doing so, empower readers to take the pledge themselves. And he has a few citations here. Here, I'll put it in the chat. So Prophet, if you want to peruse later, go check that out. Hagbert says, I care about my kid, and my kid loves tendies. So silence abets violence, the case for the Liberation Pledge. The Liberation Pledge, a podcast interview. Oh, I'm sure that's interesting. What's wrong with veganism? It's an op-ed. What's wrong with veganism? I'm another podcast. So there's a bunch of stuff here. If you want to engage or look further into what this guy does. And before we do that, let's check out his LinkedIn page. If I can find it. Just kind of curious what he would have written on there. I can't go. That's as far back as I can go. Oh shit. Here it is. I found it. Let's check out his LinkedIn page. Well, I can't. I'm not going to join LinkedIn. Hold on here. Continue as me. Thank you. Sign in with Apple. Sure. What the fuck? You have to... I don't have a LinkedIn page, so... Okay. Well, can't look at his LinkedIn page. I'm not important enough for such things right now in my life. I've never thought to create one. Well, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for the end of the stream here. But thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been fun. That was the research for the debates. Tarami, Hagbard, Big Paul, Prophet, Gaming Dragon. Thanks for stopping by, my friend, if you're still here. And we'll end with a song. And we'll see you guys next time. Oh, actually, before that, though, there will be no live stream on Wednesday. No live stream on Wednesday. I got too much shit to do. But I'll see you guys Friday night on YouTube if you're around. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Billions of birdies squawking out loud, talking in code to clams in the clouds. They send a secret message and send it by worm